All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome inside Chateau Lanes here in Winnipeg, Manitoba for the 44th annual Manitoba Open here on NDBowlTV. I'm Darren Cini, and I'll be joined in the booth momentarily by a few other guests, but just wanted to get everything started here as we wrap up position round. We will have scores and determine our final 8. So if you are new to the Manitoba Open, this is how our stepladder finals will look. An 8-person stepladder final. The first match will feature 3 players, all bowling 1 game with the high total advancing to the next match. They'll be joined by the 4 and 5 seeds. 1 game, the high total will then advance. And then it's single game all the way through, and the leader must be defeated twice. We have our position round matches going. Most of them are currently in the 10th frame, so we will have our top 8 determined here momentarily. The 1 and 2 matches going on right now is Wade Scott against Duncan DeVries, and Wade Scott has 230 on the board and will get a win, so there's a good chance past champion Wade Scott will be in position to win a second Manitoba Open title. Again, if you're just joining us early on, if you would, please let us know how everything looks, how everything sounds. We are coming to you live from Chateau Lanes in Winnipeg in HD today. Pretty excited about that. Got a new camera, got some good internet, everything looks good, so let us know. Do appreciate everyone in the chat room early on. Again, we are finishing up our position round. They will then oil our championship pair here, 17 and 18. So the finals will be contested on fresh oil. Some other bowlers near the top: Douglas Wagner, Aaron Craig, Tristan Clymer, Chase McVicker, Blake Wallstrom, Michael Neibauer, among some others, all in the top 8 in position round, but we will see how everything shakes out here momentarily, so stick around. Brad Nelson, Andy Reisler, Thomas Wolf, Mike Guthrie, thank you all for tuning in early on in the chat. If you guys have any questions throughout the day, please jump in the chat room or send me a message on the NDBowling.com Facebook page. We will try to answer any questions you may have. Strike on Bowling, thank you for tuning in. Yes, there are a lot of players here that were bowling in Windsor at the Canadian team trials. Shout out to those players who did well. A few of them are bowling at the moment. Ones that come to mind: Israel Potter, Felicia Wong, Chase McVicker. Maybe missing a few others, but congratulations to those players who qualified for the Canadian national team. I do know the scores are pretty close. Those of you who do have the Manitoba Open group page open, there is a live scoring link there. And I do believe they are going to update that here momentarily, as we've got 1 pair going yet. So once they complete their 10th frame, we will have our final 8 stepladder final determined. Strike on Bowling, you guys were doing the streaming. That's very nice. I did appreciate you guys' stream from the Canadian national team trials. So you guys can appreciate the work that goes into streaming. So Now that everyone's done, I'll have to take a moment and get one of our cameras kind of in position out on the approach. But we will do that once we determine our final 8. Brian, everything coming through in Thunder Bay. Very nice. Big shout out to the Thunder Bay contingent as 15 bowlers from Thunder Bay made their way out here to Winnipeg this weekend. We had 41 bowlers from Manitoba, 3 from Alberta, and 38 from the States. The cut to the top 32 was 88 under, so a pretty tough pattern out there. We're bowling on a 38-foot ABT pattern, number 9. It is 2.43 to 1 ratio oil pattern with a shade under 25 mils. And as you can see with the older synthetic surface here at Chateau Lanes, played very difficult. A lot of players had a hard time getting their ball not to read so early on the lane and still be able to find shape down lane. So the finals will be interesting. I do believe that the scores will be pretty good to start out our Stepladder finals because in every block that they bowled this weekend, the scores were pretty good early on, but then as a breakdown started to occur with the urethane going down the lanes, it got pretty tricky for these guys and gals. Mary tuning in from Kentucky, do appreciate that. Let us know where you're tuning in from. I always like hearing where everyone is watching us from. Again, I'm Darren Cini flying solo at the moment. We will have a guest or two in here momentarily. The folks here at Chateau Lanes are compiling scores to determine our top 8. If you make the show here this weekend, you will be guaranteed a $900 payday for 8th, $1,000 for 7th, $1,200 for 6th, $1,400 for 5th, $1,600 for 4th, $2,000 for 3rd, $3,000 for 2nd, and the top prize of $4,500. So big shout out to Melody and the entire team here in Winnipeg as they have raised quite a bit of money to make the payout what it is, giving away over $28,000 in total prize funds. So big thank you to them and all of the sponsors for this event. Staff here at Chateau Lanes will have to redress the Lane 17 and 18 championship pair. So our finals will be underway shortly.
I think that you are the last plus 8 pluses.
Kind of hearing some chatter around the set here that there are 8 players that finished plus. So all of the players that did finish plus will be in our Stepladder final if that is the case. Just goes to show how tough the pattern was this weekend. If you're new to the Manitoba Open, this is a scratch tournament. Started on Friday afternoon at 6 o'clock, 6:30. There's 6 game blocks. There are 3 qualifying blocks. You may re-enter as many times as you would like if there is room. And then following the final qualifying round last night, they cut to the top 32. Those 32 players were then separated into 4 groups of 8 and did round-robin matches within their groups, with the winner of each match receiving 10 bonus pins. And then following our 8th game position round, we then move into the Stepladder finals. And it was also important to note that the top overall seed must be defeated twice. Last season's winner, Zach Wilkins, not in the building. Last season, Zach defeated Mitch Houpe in our semifinal and then went on to defeat Thomas Wolf in the final. And looking around, a lot of players have their phones out waiting for the online scoring to update. Once the folks here at Chateau Lanes hit the send button. John watching in from Garden, Florida. Is Duncan DeVries still leading after day one? Yes, he is in the top 8, I believe. He had a pretty rough position round, so we will see where he ends up on our show. But I'm pretty positive he will be on the show. Matt watching from Fargo, thank you for tuning in. Going a little bit over the scores yesterday, top qualifier Duncan DeVries, he shot 1440 for 6 games. And how good was that block? Second place, Douglas Wagner Jr. comes in at 1293. So Duncan was 147 pins better than anyone else in qualifying. And he made it look easy. He had 201, 239, 258, 236, 231, 275 for the qualifying lead. So big time block there for Duncan. And he got the $150 bonus for being the top qualifier for the entire tournament. Going all the way down, there was a tie for the cut, which was Ryan Selk and Michael Neibauer. So they did a 1-game roll-off late yesterday, and Mike was able to win that one. He shot 193 to 150, 190 to 153, something like that. So there was a roll-off for the 32nd and final place. In total, 7 players shot plus in qualifying. They had, I think it was 97 unique players, and then with re-entries, roughly 142 entries total. So a really good turnout this weekend. It is important to note that the 300 game pot, they give away a $300 to whoever can shoot the first 300 game of the tournament. That did not go out this weekend, so next year that pot will go to $600. Do have some notes here for the Canadian team trials results. Players from Manitoba that did make the team. Israel Potter finished 4th. Made the men's team and the women's team. Marissa Naylor finished 3rd. Kristen Jolly finished 6th. And the senior team, Earl Subakivich, who we know as Earl from Canada down in the States, finished 34th. Rodel Batista and Lynn Goche. And on the Canadian youth team, Chase McVicker, who might be on our show here this afternoon, finished 3rd and missed the top 12 for the adult team by 4 pins. So a good showing for the Manitoba contingent at team trials in Windsor, Ontario this past week. Okay, I'm going to step out of the booth briefly to place one of our cameras out on the approach and get ready here for our Stepladder finals momentarily, so sit tight. As you can see, they will run the lanes twice to get a more true pattern laid down. I guess you can't see that with that camera. There you go. Still don't know our top 8, but I'm ready to update my bracket when we figure that out. Again, I do appreciate everyone tuning in the chat room early on in our show. We will have bowling here momentarily, so please sit tight. If you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and share our stream on social media if you would. Okay, so Wade Scott is the number 1 seed.
Aaron Craig. Fourth, 1644, Tristan Clymer. Fifth, 1632, Chase McVicker. Sixth, 1631, Douglas Wagner Jr. Seventh, 1629, Mitch Hubay. And eighth, 1614, Mike Neibauer.
All right, let me get all these into our stepladder final bracket. 1 second.
So lane 17 and 18 has just been freshly oiled. The practice pair is going to be on 9 and 10. The players are going to have 2 balls on each of the starting lanes. The higher seed has the option of where they want to finish first or finish last. Mike, Mitch, and Douglas will be in the first match. Top 4 will advance to play Chase and Tristan in the second match.
All right, so let's take a look at our stepladder finals. Number 1 seed, 2017 champion Wade Scott, looking for his second Manitoba Open title, will need to be defeated twice. Number 2, Duncan DeVries, out of the Sioux Falls area. Been bowling well all weekend, was a top qualifier yesterday, will come in as our number 2 here today. Number 3, Aaron Craig, I do believe out of the Thunder Bay, Ontario area. Number 4, out of the Bismarck Mandan area, Tristan Clymer. Number 5, 15-year-old here from here in Winnipeg, Chase McVicker. Number 6, made our show last year here, Douglas Wagner Jr. Number 7, past champion here at the Manitoba Open, Mitch Hubay. And the 8th and final player in our bracket, out of Bismarck Mandan, Michael Neibauer. So this is how it will go. Wagner, Hubay, and Neibauer will all start on 17 and 18 and bowl 1 game. Top score will move on and join Tristan Clymer and Chase McVicker for another 3-player top total moves on match. The winner will get Aaron Craig in the quarterfinal. We'll move on to face Duncan DeVries in our semifinal, and then Wade Scott will bowl in the championship match as the number 1 seed. Again, he will need to be defeated twice. So our stepladder finals will feature 2 past champions. Mitch Hubay won this tournament back in, I believe it was 2022. And Wade Scott was a winner back in 2017. So if you're joining us in the chat room, let us know who you think is going to win. I'd be curious. Well, as you can see, there are the top 8. Melody getting her annual photo of the top 8 in order. The order in which they have qualified. And if you're just joining us, please hit the thumbs up button. That does help us quite a bit. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and please share our stream on social media. That would be greatly appreciated. Again, our first match will be Douglas Wagner Jr., Mitch Hupe, and Michael Neibauer. All 3 bowling a single game with the top total moving on. All right, let's bring it on into the booth. Joining me at least for a match or 2, Miss Felicia Wong. Thank you for joining me.
Hi.
At least for now.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's been a long week for you. You were part of the team trials out in Windsor, Ontario, which you did fairly well in.
Thank you.
So it's been a long week for you. You've been traveling a lot, and you're from Calgary?
I'm from Calgary.
So you have some more traveling to do when you're done.
I do. Thankfully, I'm staying a couple days.
Sure.
To spend time with some friends here. But yeah, it's been a lot of days with lack of sleep.
Yeah.
So we'll see how the commentating
Right.
goes and what the brain and mouth connect.
That's fair.
But I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, take us through your week. You made the cut, finished mid to upper mid-pack here today. So how did the week go for you?
Yesterday was actually really great. I knew it was going to be difficult, so I kept it quite simple and played the pocket and made a lot of spares.
Sure.
A lot of spares. And so, my low game was 190, high game was 225, and ended up -1. And it was pretty wonderful. Stayed in a positive mood and all of that. And then this morning, there was a lot of urethane on the left side, and played very, 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 very different than yesterday.
There were a lot of lefties. I think there were 7 or 8 that advanced today, and I think 5 of them were in your group.
Yes,
that side
exactly.
of the
Exactly. Like, I think Wade was one of the lone ones in the other group.
yes,
right?
and him and Aaron were on the other one.
No, Aaron was
was
in my
yours?
group.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it was Wade and someone else. Mm-hmm. But as Wade is our top qualifier, maybe that had something to.
I'm not sure because in the end we swapped sides, so everybody's bowling on
Sure.
what each other's bowling on. But it was just noticeably different that the pattern stretched out quite a bit with the urethane on the left
Yes.
side going down.
We even saw that on the right side. 'Cause
Yeah.
a lot of players were using urethane.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if you're just joining us, we're bowling on a 38-foot pattern. It's an ABT number 9 pattern. Shade under 25 mils, 2.4, 3 to 1. And then you put it on top of this lane surface, an older synthetic surface here at Chateau Lanes, a surface that kind of wants to hook in the fronts already.
Yes,
And
the
now you
backhands
got
get quite tight
Yes.
already.
And then you get the urethane going down the lane. So what the players saw this week was something, I didn't bowl. And at times I was kind of thankful because it looked pretty rough. It
Yeah.
did. And the scores showed it because 88 under made the cut. There were only 7 players that shot plus. You should have been 8th. That shot plus, you're only 1 under,
Yeah.
So we'll call it.
Okay, I appreciate that. Bonus pin.
But, the pattern played about as tough as I expected. I think I predicted on my article 50 to 75 under, and it was 88, so it was actually harder than I anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think we'll be underway here with our first match momentarily. We've got Mitch Hupe, Douglas Wagner Jr., and Michael Neibauer. Got quite the crowd here as the youngster Chase McVicker making his, Manitoba Open Stepladder Finals debut. He just had a good week out in Windsor. I believe he made the junior team, but just missed the adult team. Is that what I understand?
So what they do is they cut to the top half of the field after 3 shifts.
Okay.
And then after 4 shifts, cut to the top 12. And so he just missed the top 12 by 4 pins.
Okay. Yep, that's what it was.
And this kid is 15.
Right, 15.
He's 15. So the amount of talent he has is staggering.
And I know Tatum Lee bowled today. He's from North Dakota, also 15. So we've got some
really?
big-time talent coming up
Yeah.
as young as they are. I can't imagine bowling something like this and doing that well at that age.
When I was 15, I
couldn't.
certainly wasn't.
Well, we
bowling.
couldn't bowl these things.
We couldn't. It's true, and I wouldn't have had the wherewithal. I wouldn't know ball motions or
Right.
mental game or tenacity.
imagine?
Yeah, I'm missing all the spares. Like, yeah. So, hats off. That's insane.
And he's got quite the following here. So when we do get to that second match, you will definitely be able to hear the fans here at Chateau Lanes getting some info sheets on our players here. Again, our first match will be underway momentarily. We'll take it out to the lanes. And I already see that I'm going to have to adjust my score camera as, yeah, that's, have to refresh those. Since we have 3 players, I kind of made it so our cameras only see 2, so I'm going to have to adjust those
Oh, I see what
in a
you're
minute.
saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's an easy fix.
You can kind of see
It's an easy fix.
Mike there.
All part of being a one-man show. You just got to, I don't have staff, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just, so hats off to you for all the work you've done.
Well, for me, hats on because it is cold in here, and my head is very cold if I don't wear it. So,
You know, when we were cold even as we were bowling.
Really?
So
Okay.
my hands were quite cold, yeah.
like, as I stream, I'm always cold in every bowling center
That's-
because they keep it cooler for the bowlers, which I understand. As a bowler, I appreciate it. But, man, sometimes it is so cold. Sean Coots, thank you for tuning in. Do appreciate you in the chat room.
Who did you say the first match was? Mike, Mitch, and
Douglas Wagner Jr.
Douglas, really?
Doug-
Oh, this is an old. Oh, that's okay.
Yep, this is
Oh,
our
wow.
qualifying
I didn't know he had.
scores is what we have.
Thought he was a little higher, but I'm just catching up here.
Yep. Doug made our show last season. He did lose to Mitch Hoope, I believe it was, in the quarterfinal. And then Mitch Hoope went on to lose to Zach in our semifinal, and Zach went on to defeat Thomas Wolf in the championship. That's what happened last season. Again, Zach was unable to make the trip this season to defend his title, so we will have a new winner this year. But waiting up top is 2017 champion Wade Scott, looking for his second Manitoba Open title. And then the other past champion is Mitch Hoope back in 2022. So who do you like in this first match? I know Mitch is the pick a lot of people would like to make just based on experience and
And this being his hometown
accolades.
center.
Yes.
He knows his house really well. Based on what I saw, Douglas's look was better off the fresh. So we'll see.
And now since this is a separate round, were players able to adjust surfaces before the stepladder? I do believe they were.
They were.
Okay.
Yeah, and any higher seed coming in can adjust their surfaces until they start. So
And that's very different from what it used to be like here at the Manitoba Open. It used to be between every game, right?
yes, there was a time when we could do it between every game. That would definitely help the lefties.
Yes. But I remember coming in here as like 25-year-old, and I never knew that. And then in between each game, people would just take 500, and it would just be a cloud of dust in the
then
bowling
you'd be chewing
center.
up the fronts even
Yeah,
more. Yeah.
that was back when it was a 10-game qualifier.
Oh, that's right.
They had to put out a ton of oil just to make it last
Yes.
for the 10 games, and then
Yes.
there were probably 6 players to a pair, 6 or 7.
Like, I couldn't imagine bowling 10 games now that the surface has changed and gotten some more years on it. Yeah.
Well, let's see. Do we have our info sheets for our 3 players? I think a couple of these don't really need much introduction. Everyone knows Mitch. He's a past champion here, PBA Tour titleist from Winnipeg. He's been on our show. He was a guest on our show down in Alexandria for a couple years in a row now. He says he won in 2021. But I'm going to question that because I think that's the year the tournament was canceled.
I would assume so because we were still having, like, COVID
Yes,
shutdowns
so-
and things like that in 2021 from a
Melody
Canada perspective.
did give me a sheet right here.
Hey, there you go.
So, yeah, Mitch won in 2022. So,
Yeah, we can call him on that.
yeah, he's won so much he forgets when he wins things. And then he took third last season. Yes, he said, "You want to know more about me? See Wikipedia."
That's a very Mitch thing to do.
Douglas Wagner out of Moorhead, Minnesota, age 31. High game 300, high series 858. Holy moly.
That's a lot of strikes.
Highest Manitoba Open finish was last year, finishing 4th. He did win the NDBowling.com Classic. I want to say that was 2021, 2020, somewhere in there. All that information is available on NDBowling.com. Personal info, he's married, has 2 dogs, enjoys video games.
Well, and I wonder how many years he's actually bowled the Manitoba Open.
Yeah, he used to come up here with the group out of Fargo Moorhead, I do believe. But I'm not sure how long he's been coming up here. But our third player, Michael Neibauer, I do believe this is his first Manitoba Open. I don't think he's bowled this before. He's made our show before multiple times at the Masters down in Minot. But he is out of Mandan, North Dakota, age 23. High
He
series.
was quite young.
Yeah, high series 827. He did confirm his first Manitoba Open. Previous tournament wins, none with a smiley face. But he has had some pretty high finishes, and we've seen it here on NDBowlTV. So
Yeah, and he looks like the only player right now who's not practicing with urethane. So I don't know what he started with today, but he's got an Equinox Solid in his hand right now.
yeah, I don't believe I see Mike throwing urethane very much, at least in the tournaments that we bowl down in North Dakota.
I'm curious if Mitch is using urethane to stretch out the pattern. He's playing quite
Right.
outside, though, which, is kind of a Mitch Hoope special.
Right. So do you think in a situation like this, do you like to set up the lanes? I know you're, as a lefty, not many times you have fellow lefties, but do you like to, like you said,
100%.
use urethane, kind of set up the lanes or surface?
Yes, I generally tend to use surface
Okay.
and then play a little left of where I'm going to play and throw up Brooklyn so that I can create some carry down toward
Sure. Yep.
Brooklyn side. And it generally tends to work out pretty well, especially when you get all this time to yourself,
Right.
right? So, yeah, if you can, set up the lane. It's only going to make it better for you, in theory, if you know what you're doing.
Right. And with that being said, with these two, at least 2 of the righties here using urethane, the first ball's going down the lane on our championship pair since they just oiled them. You got to think that's going to affect the later matches, just like in a qualifying.
Yes,
When you hit a pair, who started there?
exactly.
Kind of dictates the breakdown, kind of dictates how everyone moves throughout the lane.
Yeah, did someone use 500 grit at 20?
Right.
Right,
Which
that
is,
happens.
it happens all the time. You'd be
All of a sudden your
surprised,
ball
yeah.
just hooks immediately off your hand.
Yes.
You're like, I don't know what happened. Yeah. Or the reverse, right? When you hit a urethane pair and the ball just slides in the back end. And,
Yep.
okay.
I hit that all the time. As a lower rev guy on the right side, once the heads burn out and you're forced left, and then you have the urethane puddle down lane,
Yes.
it's so hard to get proper ball motion around that to carry the corners and put strikes together. It's just so hard to do. And we saw that on this pattern quite a bit this weekend.
We definitely did. And, okay, Mike starts us off here. So does higher seed get to pick
In this
lane?
situation, I don't know, honestly.
Okay. Okay, because they had the name set up already, so maybe
Right.
they didn't.
And I think Doug was our highest seed here, and he's on the right lane. And then Mike was the 8 seed, so he's leading us off here.
And it's interesting, Mitch kind of, he was floating in and around 8 to 10 kind of the whole day, and then bowled at 226 to get him into 7th to make the ladder.
Yeah, and earlier this morning when I was kind of watching him bowl around our championship pair, it just seemed like he wasn't very comfortable, wasn't kind of making the shots he wanted to make. So I don't know if something's a bit off for him today, but still giving himself a chance here in our first match. Wagner going with a purple up the right. It looks like we lost our light there on 18 as well.
It might be coming back
There
up.
it is.
Okay, I'm just going to go hard and fast up the outside.
It looks like a 78U in his hand.
Yeah, that's a Mitch Hoope special right there.
Yes. If I were to say you were to rank all the urethane players out on tour, I would put Mitch top 5. Urethane players over the course of the last few years on tour.
Nice spare from Douglas. Very easy to leave a washout on this.
Yes,
It
which
was-
you wouldn't think
Exactly.
on 38 feet right away.
Exactly.
You know?
I know.
But that is Chateau lanes. Like, that's
Yeah.
one thing that I had a couple friends that came up here for the first time. And they're like, Darren, it's 38 feet. Should I bring just a bunch of weak stuff? I was like, no. No. Because at Chateau lanes, if they put out 41 feet, it plays like 44, 45.
Yes.
If they put out 38 feet, it plays like 41, 42. And it just,
And my ball was backing up so much, I was like, am I on a 47?
right. Like, you're going to want big cores, big covers to go along with the urethane for the high rev guys.
Right, like Justin Schiffler started out really big yesterday during qualifying, and he used an Equinox Solid with
It
some
looked
surface
really
on it.
good, yes. And then he moved to a cove with a little bit of shine on it, I think.
Yeah, but he had to kind of step in
Okay.
later in the block, like games 5, 6, or something like that.
Yeah.
So. But, oh,
Looks
we've
like
got
our light is,
got some paranormal activity. on
yeah,
18.
something's going on here on lane 18. Got some Mitch fans in the chat room. Again, I'm Darren Cini, joined by Felicia Wong. How many years have you been on Team Canada?
This year we'll make 16.
16.
Yeah. It's really hard to believe, actually, that
Right.
I'm now like the senior on the team, and all the young guns are like less than 20, less than 30. Sorry, not less than 20, but they're younger than.
So you're the mom of the team.
Oh yeah, we do have some old souls.
Yep.
So.
That's okay.
Can you see what ball that is?
Doesn't kick the 10. I do not know what ball he's throwing. Maybe we can catch it on the way out of the ball return. That is a crux.
Prime,
Yeah, it's the white and
blue and red one.
red, white and blue. I
Not
want to
many
say it's
people
the-
throw that.
Yeah,
ball.
I haven't seen that in
Yeah.
a long time.
That's fascinating.
So would you say this is Mitch's like bread and butter kind of shot, just hard up the right with the?
Yeah, Mitch can do this better than anyone I've ever seen. Oh. Ooh.
It's pretty good. And another thing, you see him looking
Ooh.
at the approaches there. They buff the approaches before every single qualifying block. And from what I gathered, just talking to some of the players, everyone had to change their soles. This is a unique center.
Yes.
The older synthetic approaches, they're not like the textured approaches you see in a lot of centers.
Hmm.
They're the kind of like the ice skating of synthetic
Well, that's pretty
approaches.
close. Oh, okay then.
And that's what you run into.
I thought
with
that was pretty
the-
close.
With the big ball.
And the 38 feet.
Yep, and you miss towards the middle. You don't hit that little bit of shim from the urethane.
And it looks like the right lane is playing tighter. It's going a little further down lane, so maybe he was making the adjustment for the right lane.
So how many years have you made the show out here? Do you know?
2, I believe.
Because there was the one year, the first year I came up here and covered it. I think it was the year Eric Parvey won for the first time. I
Yes.
think you were on that show.
Yes, I was on that show.
And then I feel like there was another one
Maybe
when
before
I actually had the
that?
stream here.
Okay.
But I can't remember what year it was. We have all that information. Melody's got everything for us. I just have to find it. Let's see if we can find that.
Oh, wow.
So in 2013, there you are in third. And then again here in 2019. So both years that Eric Parvey won, you were third.
I'm going to have to get that Eric Parvey.
Right? Shout out to Eric if you're watching.
Oh, we miss him up here.
Two-time winner here at the Open. And good shot by Mitch. I think he was a little surprised that one.
Held.
Held pocket.
Yeah, it's definitely rolling earlier on 17. So let's see what Mike does here on 18. Kick that 10 out.
Okay, sorry about the scores there. I forgot the scores do the whole back and forth thing.
Oh, right.
Switch, so we gotta take care of that. There we go. Looks like urethane's the way to go. I do believe in our qualifying rounds, the earlier games on the fresh seem to be where a lot of players got their score, a majority of their score, and then they just got squirrely down lane with the urethane push, and as players got left, it was one of those kind of feast or famine things.
And it's kind of interesting because, like, with the 38-foot, it's a medium pattern.
Right, yep.
It's a short medium, but it allows you to play so many different angles.
Yes.
Right? So then that transition gets really tricky on top of the pair-to-pair.
Yes. Michupe frame 4, working on a 3-bagger. Looks pretty good. Wrap 10. Again, this is a 3-person match. The top score will advance. Kind of a unique stepladder finals here since they have the entries. They expanded the stepladder to 8 people. First 2 matches will be 3-person top score advance.
Hey, all right. Good spare by Mitch.
Spares were definitely key this weekend. With the way the pattern was playing, a lot of spares were shot at.
Mm-hmm. That's basically you're trying to hit the pocket and cover your spares. And then you'd be in a pretty good place considering, like you said, only 7 people averaged over 200
Yes.
for qualifying.
Even today, I think I heard someone say while we were waiting for the top 8
Ooh, that's a messenger for Mike.
that only 8 players were plus today with the bonus pins and everything. So
With the bonus pins.
yeah.
Yee. Yeah. It's not easy out there, folks.
So what did you throw this weekend?
You know, I mostly threw an RST Hyperdrive Solid on the qualifying. And then, as I mentioned with the urethane today, I could move like 10 and 7 left and use the Hyperdrive Pearl with a little surface to try and get it to tip up with that carry down.
Got that one a little wide of target. Fortunate to leave the 2.
It's interesting that Mitch has been bowling already the whole 2 days and is still testing his slide. So his footing still doesn't seem as comfortable as he.
I always have a hard time getting my feet under me in this building. Getting, the slide use. Because back in Minot, we have the textured approaches. They're notoriously tacky.
Oh, yeah, that's
So
fair.
then come up here and you got buffed out approaches before every qualifying shift. And
it is like skating a little. I did have to change my sole too, but as bowlers, you learn to adjust.
yes,
It's
and
the only thing that is
I got to
constant.
imagine with how much you travel for bowling, being on the team
Yes.
and on tour, you see a lot of different things.
You know, and it still surprises me when I see different things. I'm
Really?
like, wow, that's really different.
Yeah.
So you just got to go with the flow.
All right, big opportunity here for Wagner working on a 3-bagger.
Does look pretty solid.
It's pretty good, but that's a Chateau hit right there, the twister pin 7. Got a bounce there, but got the
Nice
spare.
spare by Mike.
Sometimes you get the bounce off the end of that first panel, the front part of the lanes.
Looks like he's going to change balls here. Hooking at left side spares on the 38-foot pattern, I do not recommend.
I would not do that either. Fun story is I get lazy, like in league, and I'll just hook across the lane at single pins. And it bit me at tournaments when it was a short flat pattern like this, and it would just hook off the meter, or the opposite, it wouldn't hook at all.
Yeah, even a
So-
long flat pattern, any flat pattern, right?
Yes.
You're kind of taking a gamble with that.
And I committed last year. I was like, I don't care if I'm in league. I don't care where I'm at. Left side spares, any 4-7 combination,
Yes.
even some bucket combinations. I'm throwing dead straight at it, and I've gotten so much better at it. So I'm glad I did that. But it's stuff like that.
Yeah, for any of you players out there who, I don't know, haven't experienced sport patterns much,
Right.
and you want to try, that's one of the first things I'd recommend. Looks like we're having some
Yeah, the
glitchy.
light is got a. Looks like the mechanics on it. I don't know if it's a case of just giving it a twist or he's going to have to replace it. But
Let's take out the one on 19, put it
Right.
in 19.
be a quick fix. Big shout out to the crew here at Chateau Lanes for keeping everything running smoothly this weekend. Justin in the chat, the one and only Felicia Wong. Yes.
Hey, Justin.
Hope everyone's having a wonderful Sunday afternoon. I do know it was raining here in Winnipeg not too long ago, and it's I don't know what it is in Celsius, but it was a balmy 23 degrees Fahrenheit. So
That's like about minus 10.
yeah, put 2 and 2 together if you can, and there's ice out there. Let's just say that. So I'm not looking forward to driving home. I'm
How
hoping
far is your drive?
it's about 5-6 hours to Minot,
Okay.
but it's not bad.
Okay.
From what I understand, it's only freezing rain to about the border. So as long as I can get
Okay.
to that point, you know,
That's bad.
it's only about an hour of drive time to get there. So
All right. Well, he took the light out of 15, so
yes,
we're going to be back in business shortly here.
there we go. I don't know his name, but shout out to him. He was,
Our mechanic.
yes, he was out here quite a bit this weekend working on things, and
Keeping the tournament running
yes,
smoothly. Yeah, it's a lot to coordinate for these things, isn't it?
I can about imagine all the legwork working up to the tournament. Looks like my battery died on my approach camera, so we won't have that one for this match, but I will go switch that one out here when we're done.
Wow, that was a great shot by Mitch. Nearly 4-9.
I remember the old days of bowling here in probably the early 2010s when Mitch was just a youngster and he had the high backswing and the big hand at the bottom. He still has a ton of rev rate, but very refined game now. I don't know if that was when he went down to Wichita.
I think a lot of that was when he went down to Wichita, but then being out on tour and just being in there day in and day out and being exposed to the tour reps that you have
Yes.
and the coaching that you get, it's, yeah, when you take advantage of it, you can really put in the work. Okay, we've got Mike switching to the Equinox Solid on the left.
Great
lane.
ball.
Wow, that was a really good ball change.
I love the Equinox Solid. Every time I've been able to throw it, yes, shout out to
I agree. I'm wearing the,
shout out to
the
Felicia wearing
sweater right now.
the Equinox Solid sweatshirt.
I mean, it just looks like it has a little more surface on it than his Crux Prime did. It's going to smooth out that transition from the end of the pattern to no oil at the end of the lane. Right? And hopefully blend out some of that urethane characteristics that he was seeing.
So speaking of urethane, the PWBA Tour decided to adopt the complete urethane ban. Is that
Complete
what I
urethane
understand?
ban. Yeah, not even 78 hardness.
Were you
allowed.
surprised by that?
I was a little surprised by that. I know they did, like the USBC did a lot of testing and, oh wow, Mitch with the late flying messenger, spinning messenger? What do you want to call that?
Bird dog nonetheless.
Indeed. So we'll see what that changes. Not a lot of the women throw urethane on tour, but when it's there, it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am curious to see how the USBC Masters is going to go because that is one of the tournaments on the, I don't want to call it the men's side, but it's
The PBA
yes,
tour.
that they have the complete ban for. I think it's that, the US Open. So
All the
I'm
USBC.
curious, yeah. I'm curious
Yeah.
to see how that's going to go, what they're going to do for an oil pattern, because with the way the rev rates are these days, without having that option to essentially keep it in front of you and stay
Yes.
right for the big heavy-handed players, I'm curious to see how it's going to go.
Well, and what was interesting was USBC, well, the patterns that you would see with the speed bumps kind of like just 2-2 loads down lane, kind of seemingly at a random distance.
Yep.
It's not random, but I think that was to try and prevent. Good break there for Douglas. Try and prevent some urethane going down the lane. So I don't know that we'll see as many of those patterns if urethane's banned.
Right.
All right, nice spare by Mike. You said he's been in some of the stepladders in the
Yeah,
ND
like
bowling tournaments.
we have the NDBowlTV Masters every October down in Minot. It's held on the USBC Masters pattern from that year before, those
Oh, gotcha.
like 6 months before. And then the winner gets a spot at the USBC Masters. And Mike's been our show, I think, 2 years in a row now.
Oh, good for him.
So a pretty solid player. He keeps the ball in front of him. He tends to excel on the harder patterns because of that. But still quite young, only 23. So he's got it.
I know, these young
Ways
guns
to
are all
go.
coming for us. Eh? Oh,
Hoope
that's a good shot by
kicks the
Mitch.
10 out.
And it's neck and neck again. Oh, Mitch on a double and Douglas on the spare.
Again, the high score here will move on. We have Tristan Clymer and Chase McVicker in the next match. So out of the Storm lines, as a Storm, I've got to imagine you're a national staffer. Do they go by national staffers as a Canadian? Are you like a world staffer? Are you a...
That's a good question. I think I'm still a national staff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as a national staffer on the Storm line, what's been your favorite products, I guess, over the last few months?
The RSD Hyperdrive Solid,
Okay.
the Equinox Solid, and the RST Pearl have been
Really?
like, yeah, the go-to three for
Okay.
me. And they really complement each other well. So it's been, I'm curious to see what the new balls are like. Oh,
So
that
do
was
you
really fast by
gravitate
Douglas.
towards the ASIMs, the bigger cores?
I do. As a lefty, I need all the help I can get
Right.
sometimes when there's not a lot of traffic out there. Oh, all right. Well,
Well, good weekend for Mike anyways.
Indeed.
Even though he's struggling here in our opening match, the prize fund is insane. I think it's $900.
they did
Just
so
to make
much
our
work
show,
to boost the prize fund and raise money for this. So $900 for 8th place. Darren was
Yeah.
right there.
Almost $1,000 guaranteed if you make the show. That's incredible.
And to have the top 32 even pay out $400 when your entry fee is $170
Yes.
is
And even if you entered twice, you're still making
to go. Oh,
good money. Good big shot there for Mitch.
yeah, he's solidly in control here.
So Doug's got, 223 possible. Mitch just needs, a mark in the 10th?
Yes.
So we talked a little bit about you on the PWBA tour. You guys start up in May again, or is it late April this year? I can't remember.
I think it's late April because there's 2 events before the Queens this year.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really condensed season where there's just kind of 12 events
It
between
seems quick. Yeah, it
end
seems
of
very
April to
quick.
mid-August there. Okay, big shot for Douglas here. Oh, wow. With the late 10.
Got some road reports in the chat room. Roads were icy to Morris. Do appreciate the
There's a great
Heads
shot
up.
by Mike.
Again, great tournament for Michael Neibauer. As it does appear, he's going to finish in 8th, take home $900. Whoever finishes in 7th will take home $1,000. Kind of got to have it here for Doug. Wrap 10. Debbie Christopher asking, are they going to oil after each match? No, they oiled before the first match, and the lanes will stay that way throughout the rest.
So we'll see so Mitch doesn't even need to mark in the 10th. Is that correct?
You know, and I wonder if, since he's got everything in hand, if he's going to continue to throw the urethane. I always hear players talk about, you know, you're only limited to so many shots with the urethane in a certain part of the lane.
Can be.
And they like to preserve that line, so to speak.
He's going to throw one more just to classic Greek George for a 7-pin.
High hit. You saw the exhale there just to get through this match and move on. So the 2022 champion is going to move on to our 4, 5, 6 match.
All right, let's see what he does in the fill here.
Looks like he's picking up a phase 2, or is it the pearl?
It looks like the phase 2 solid, but it's
Okay.
tough to tell.
Have you thrown the pearl much?
I have thrown the pearl. I quite like it. Again, because I'm on the left side, oh, wow. And he stayed out there.
Saw that one really take off there.
Yeah. I tend to put surface on my pearls.
Okay. I mean, honestly, in the modern game, as a lower rev player, you almost have to, like, I can't throw anything
Right?
that has polish on it. You just can't. Everything goes way too far. All right, let's head on over to our bracket and move Mitch on over. There he is. Tristan Clymer, Chase McVicker, and Mitch Hoope will be in our next match, with the winner advancing to take on Aaron Craig in our quarterfinal. Again, if you haven't already, please follow NDBowling.com and NDBowlTV on social media. Find us on Instagram, like our Facebook page. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. A reminder that Storms, the official bowling ball sponsor of the High Plains Bowling Network for the 4th year in a row. Big thank you to the folks in Utah. And of course, Zello Gear. Head on over to zellogear.com and save 10% using promo code NDBowlTV10. Again, I'm Darren Sini, joined by Felicia Wong.
Hello, hello.
Here at the 44th Annual Manitoba Open here at Chateau Lanes in Winnipeg. Our next match, Mitch Hoope, Tristan Clymer, Chase McVicker.
I don't know much about Tristan Clymer. Are you going to go change the battery?
I will, but I will find Tristan's page. Tristan is out of Bismarck, Mandan.
Okay.
He works at Midway Lanes. He's the pro shop operator at Midway Lanes. I'm going to go change a battery really quick.
All right. So you have Felicia solo here. What questions do we have in the chat? So as Darren said, Tristan is from Mandan, North Dakota. He has a 300 and a 784. Well, that's cute. He said his first Manitoba Open in 2024, his result was really bad. That's what he said. Yeah, pro shop operator at Midway Lanes. Hey, Tiffany. Shout out to Tiffany Griffith, who just made Team Canada again out in Windsor last week. This week. Oh, goodness. It's still this week. So we were just in Windsor bowling the team trials, and now we are in Manitoba bowling the Manitoba Open. And I'm just going to keep talking to myself because that's what we do here. Be kind of cool. Okay, so as Melody is announcing, Tristan and Chase will get 2 practice shots on each lane before they start their match. Mitch does not get any practice shots, obviously.
And there we go. We have a working camera at the moment on the side. Hopefully my batteries will hold up for the...
Oh, we've got Chase throwing a pretty sanded purple as well. We've talked a lot about Chase already, but he is 15 years old. He is a hometown favorite for sure.
Said it's his first time making the top 32. I know he's bowled this a couple times.
He's had so much improvement in just a year of bowling. This kid works hard.
Right.
He works so hard.
And just like kids his age, he's gotten a lot taller.
Yes.
So I can only imagine how hard that is
I know,
to adapt
that's not
to your
even
game.
fair as a short person.
Yes.
You're called BS.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Look at all that natural leverage they get.
Right. Yeah, neither of us are tall.
Yeah, solid 5'4" here.
Yes. Started at age 3, current member of the junior team,
Yes.
10-time Canadian champion. Do they have like youth? Sort of.
So they have 2 different youth nationals, actually.
Okay.
And they have different age divisions ranging from 9 years old all the way to 21 years old. So it's a great way for kids, and you have a representative from each province, a boy and a girl in each division, and it's such a great way for the kids to just see where bowling can take you. You know, that's how I understood when I first won my first youth provincials and saw nationals and saw people from across the country. I'm like, oh, bowling's a thing.
Yeah, and I see the banners hanging up here at
Yes.
Chateau lanes on the
Yes.
sides by lane 1 and lane 30, and also some in the lounge as well. And I've always wondered kind of how the youth program is up in Canada and how it compares to kind of what we have in the States.
I mean, I think the general consensus is that bowling memberships in general are decreasing.
Correct.
Right, year after year. And so that's not uncommon across Canada as well. What is really nice is they do a lot of work in Winnipeg with their youth program to go out to grassroots, talk to schools, try to get more youth kids. And they grew their program quite a bit. So we need more of that.
Yes, and same goes with the States. The more youth that bowl in general,
Yes.
I guess would be great because they're the future of the sport.
It's absolutely true. And not to mention what just happened in the Team USA trials where
Right.
the youth absolutely dominated, at least on the women's side.
Yeah, a guy that we saw on NDBowlTV in August, Dawson Peterson, he won the Midwest Youth Championships here on NDBowlTV, goes on to win the Men's US Amateur last week in
Wow.
Vegas.
Wow.
Very impressive. Big shout out to
Yeah,
Dawson
so
Peterson.
keep us on our toes. We got to
Right.
do some work out there.
All right, so we're underway with our next match. Our first look here at Tristan Clymer out of the Bismarck-Mandan area. Those of us in the States.
Oh, Mitch does get practice shots. Oh, no, they've started. I'm so
Yes,
sorry.
we are scoring already, Felicia.
I'm here. I'm present.
Can't blame you. You've had a long week.
Wonderful. Oh, shoot.
It's pretty
That was
close.
close.
Again, big shout out to everyone in the chat room. Let us know where you're tuning in from.
Chase decided to go. Wow, that's a great shot by Chase.
As you can hear, he's got quite the cheering section
He is
here
using
beside
a
us.
C300 pulse. Solid symmetrical ball, pretty mid-range, if I'm remembering that correctly. New bowling balls are coming out all the time.
Right,
so
and they're
I'm just
doing a
trying
lot
to
of
keep up.
remakes. A lot of
Yes.
companies are doing remakes.
Mitch still with the 78U.
Sticking with the urethane up the gutter.
So when we were at the World Championships, Mitch was the only one who was able to play that
Really?
line on a 46
Wow.
foot pattern, right, with 30 milliliters of oil.
Tuning in from Surrey, British Columbia. Thank you for tuning in. Do appreciate that.
JR Pro Shop, they're a big YouTube channel
Yeah.
themselves. Yeah,
Appreciate you guys.
sharing that bowling knowledge. Good.
All right, another look here at Chase McVicker. 15 years old, right out of Winnipeg here.
Wow. Okay, so that ball looked really quick response on lane 18. Chase getting the big break there.
Looks like he's got the Winnipeg Jets inspired jersey going on.
He gots to.
He did say that his idols are Mitch, EJ, and John Domingo. Big shout out to John Domingo. Wish you could join us again this year. I know you've been battling some health issues. Hopefully everything is Okay for you. Shot there by Mitch. I think he was a bit surprised on that
he did
one.
not like that one. All right, and JR Pro Shop said their logo's on Mitch's left sleeve also. So Mitch representing JR Pro Shop out here.
Very nice.
Yeah. Is that a Nebula he's throwing?
I do believe so. Tristan likes to throw a lot of motive stuff.
Okay. So the Nebula, quite a clean, quick ASIM.
Yes. One interesting tidbit about Tristan is he can bowl one and two-handed. He has gone to
Wow.
tournaments
Oh, there you
with
go.
multiple arsenals because of the whole finger hole
Thumb,
rule.
yep.
So
I mean,
I've
I
seen-
appreciate the spare shot with one
Yes.
hand. That seems like it's a
that'd
good approach.
I feel like it'd be a lot easier.
I agree.
It's a little wide.
What do I get lucky? Okay.
It's common miss this week.
So many washouts. So many washouts. I'm pretty impressed with Chase to come out in his first step ladder and throw the first two like he did. Let's see if he can get some love on the spare here. Gosh, if we had speed sensors on Mitch's ball speed right now, do you think
Right.
it'd be in the 30s?
It'd be close. It's got a
Oh,
chance.
that does have a chance. Okay.
Ooh.
A little bit of hook there. I mean, honestly, as a 15-year-old, just so composed.
All right, it seems pretty calm.
Yeah, we don't know what's happening on the inside, but on the outside, he's
Yeah, if
Calm
he's
and
nervous,
collected.
you can't tell. Especially, bowling against one of your idols that
you grew up.
grew up
looking to.
watching. Yes.
Yeah. All right, Mitch with the 4-pin there, coming in a little high. Looks like he slipped.
It's got to push. Crosses over and gets a strike for Tristan.
Big smiles there.
That's right, I would too. A big tidbit there about Chase McVicker. I did think that he shot 255 yesterday to jump into the cut,
That's correct.
and he made the cut by, was that 21 pins?
21 pins.
So 255 to make it by 21, and now here he is in the finals.
My goodness. I told him yesterday after he shot 230, I was like, give us a chance.
Right? So now in Canada, do they have something similar to the SMART program USBC does, and how
do.
he?
Yeah, so we do have scholarship funds. I think it's even called the SAFE program.
Okay.
So,
So that's what all of his winnings will go to.
and the youth bowlers can actually choose. So, like, let's say if they want to go NCAA route, right, then they'll choose to get their money in scholarship, and that'll make them still eligible for NCAA. Now they don't have NCAA men's bowling, so who knows what Chase decided to
Right.
do.
The club level in the States is pretty good.
Yes, yes. But you don't have that restriction of you can't have won any kind of money
Right.
prize fund.
Yep.
Right, so
Big advantage. Oh, it's got a hook.
it does not hook.
He didn't like that one
One
right off
bit.
his hand. Yeah.
Chase coming back strong with the strike on lane 18.
All right. Could Tristan take advantage of that runaway Brooklyn on 17? Like I
Better
say,
shot.
cash it in.
That's a better shot.
Oh,
wow.
no. Bowling gives and bowling takes is what I
Well,
would
and
say.
that's the tough part about using a ball so quick on. I mean, we've had a couple games on here now, but man, that ball didn't. It touched that 9-pin. It just
Yep.
took off at the end of the pattern. All right, good spare there from Tristan using a Max Thrill
Maybe.
hybrid thrill for spare balls. Yeah.
Hey, it saves a spot in your bag. I give a lot of credit to the people that can do that because
I agree, especially on this 38 feet,
Yes,
right? And you
if-
can still keep it
if
straight.
you don't have to put a spare ball in your bag and you can just throw one of your reactive balls, I find that an advantage.
Wow, great shot there from Chase, right off his hand.
Yeah, just the one kind of wide shot that he threw there in the third. Otherwise, he's been pretty solid.
so great to, on the PBA, sometimes they're doing like interviews in between shots.
Yes.
In between frames. It's a little crazy, but it's really fascinating to be able to get the insight of a bowler real time.
Right, what they're thinking in the moment, yes.
Yeah. Wow, that's a good break from Mitch. Nearly left a bucket.
It's
Just
funny,
such a pin.
I do have wireless mics, and a lot of people always ask me to use them, but I'm so afraid of doing that.
It's fair. It's not going to be well received from everybody in a sense of just where they're at in their process, their shot process, their mental process.
And bowlers tend to use colorful language as well, so something to
Yeah,
watch out
you kind
for.
of have to have that pre-qualification of, hey, if you're tuning in, I don't control what the bowlers
Yes. We do have a bleep button here at NDBowlTV, so
Nice. How often do you have to use it?
haven't yet.
Wow. Okay, that's a tough spare. But
Yep. That's
Okay.
kinda what I thought with the 9 back there.
yeah, double wood was tricky on this pattern, even if you go straight or hooked at it.
Frame 6 for McVicker.
A little bit outside.
Recovered 5-7.
Okay, it's definitely makeable.
Not an uncommon leave here at Chateau Lanes with how the ball likes to hook in the fronts and then just
Way off in the back.
What I've been telling people, it just coughs down lane. It just
Yeah, it wants to think about hooking, and then that's close. All right.
and that's the trick here is like you see your ball set up, you see your ball go into the what wants to be a rolling motion, a tumbling motion, and then it just deflects every time.
Yes, and I actually tripped a messenger 5-pin because of that backup that we're talking about. Okay.
We celebrate those. Us low rev players celebrate the bird dog to the 5-pin. So
No, and I tripped it as a left-hander to the right. Like,
Oh,
it
no.
came flying. Yeah, it was all good. Looks like the urethane carry down is affecting Mitch there. Great shot by Tristan. Great comeback.
no, careful.
Spare
Okay.
for Mitch. Those were also tough.
Yes.
And there's a little bit of hook on the spare ball sometimes, even if
Right,
it's real plastic.
yep.
So just obviously not with Mitch because he throws it 30 miles an hour at his spare.
I feel like I'd need shoulder surgery if I threw it that hard at spares or in general.
I mean, he uses his legs so well.
You always see him get up on his tippy toes when he throws, especially playing from right.
Yeah. That looks a little left.
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
Well, to any of you youth bowlers out there watching, be sure to use your legs.
Use your legs.
If you want to generate power like some of us small folk, we need to use our legs.
Well, I mean, you look at Norm Duke, and he stood at the back of the approach and took 6-7 steps.
Yes. Watch Mitch here. Not as much that time, but good shot. Can't get the 10 out.
So, and that's kind of the trick with urethane. You're looking for very minor adjustments, a little softer speed, a little softer touch and feel to try and get that 10-pin to roll tip, and that was a really great execution from Mitch there.
Got a hook. And he trips
Wow,
out
and he
to
rolls
2.
a 2. Okay, 2-7 actually, right?
Yeah, big shot there for Tristan to get the double on the board.
Yeah, still lots of frames out there. Really close match.
Again, you're watching the 44th annual Manitoba Open here on NDBowlTV. Following this match, the winner will take on Aaron Craig in the quarterfinal match. Waiting in the wings, Duncan DeVries in this 2 spot, and past champion Wade Scott, the #1 seed. Shot for the youngster there.
And I love that you can see that he's still contemplating that ball motion. Even though it's struck, he's looking at,
So speaking of ball motion, are you more of a I like to stay where I'm at, switch balls, or do you like to take the same ball and kind of chase it? And I understand that's kind of pattern dependent, but what do you prefer to do?
Now, as a lefty, it is pattern dependent and topography dependent, but well, that's a better shot for Mitch. But as a lefty, when the righties start getting into the heads, you know, I'm typically going to try and stay left and ball down if I can.
Right.
We bowl a tournament in Butte, Montana, where it's 12 games, and so by the end of the 12th game,
Is that the ringing 10?
it is the
It
ring
is.
in 10.
That's coming
Shout
up
out
soon.
to the ring in 10. By the 8th, 9th, oh, that's a big split by Tristan. All right. Yeah, the righties are all lofting the cab, so I'm trying to loft over the heads and still get it to
Wow.
read enough in the back to tip. You know, so if I can stay as far left as I can and get out of that traffic, it's better. Big shot here coming up for Chase.
Got opportunity.
That's really great off his hand.
Oh, he gets a
That
7.
was really great off his hand.
I was worried about the 7 pin, the
A little bit there.
twister pin leave, you know.
Ah, poor Tristan.
Unfortunate miss for Clymer there. He's got 146 in the 9th, 176 max, so Chase is already there. Mitch can max out at 209. Got to think he's got to get all of them here.
At least make Chase kind of just step up, right?
Yep, Chase has 228 left on the board.
Smart kid. He's already prepping a fill ball. That's got to push.
Oh no, 4-9.
You go from a flat 10 to a 4-9. And those are aced off his hand.
Right.
And the Brooklyn for Tristan.
Well, now you got to pay attention here because the points do matter, you know. Even if you're not going to advance, your position in the payout will be determined by your score in this game. 177 for Mitch. Tristan cannot get there, so Tristan will be finishing in what would be 7th? 6th?
No?
Yeah, because we had 2
Sixth,
finishers in
yeah.
the last game, so 6th. $1,200 finish for Tristan, and looks like Mitch is going to finish here in 5th place at $1,400. Gets it out, and that'll do it. So Chase McVicker will move on to face Aaron Craig in our quarterfinal.
All right, so he's going to take a look at a fill shot here with the Ion Pro, the original Ion Pro. Looks like it's got some lane shine on it.
And it's pinned down. I could see it
that's
from the,
interesting.
when he put it on the chair there, it's like pinned under his ring finger.
Okay.
Looks like he moved a little right with it.
Wow. And he rolled it pretty forward off his
Pretty good.
hand. This kid is impressive. I can't even say. It's wild. I know earlier last year he said, oh, I reached my goal of 450 RPMs, you know, and he started the year at 300.
Wow. But I guess at that age, you almost
Right.
have to practice to get added rev rate because it's such an
Absolutely.
advantage in today's game.
Especially as a one-hander,
Yes.
right? That is a phenomenal shot.
There you have it. 228. Chase McVicker will move on. Let's go update our bracket.
Okay, we have our first lefty of the stepladder. right.
Yes.
Coming
Aaron
in.
Craig and Wade Scott are both left-handed, so
So
There
it's
hasn't-
fresh on
yes.
this side.
be curious to see how that affects kind of going forward. I know Wade's going to be interested in seeing what goes on in these matches. And nice tournament for Tristan Clymer and Mitch Houpe, finishing in 5th and 6th respectively. Again, if you haven't already, please follow us on social media. Like our Facebook page. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Again, I'm Darren Sweeney, joined by Felicia Wong at the 44th Annual Manitoba Open here at Chateau Lanes in Winnipeg. Big shout out to the folks at Storm, the official bowling ball sponsor of the High Plains Bowling Network. And thank you to Jake Peters, Chris Prather, and everyone at Zello Gear for being the official jersey partner of NDBowlTV. You can save 10% on your order at zellogear.com by using promo code NDBowlTV10. I'd also like to make a big shout out to all the sponsors here at the Manitoba Open. They helped give out over $28,000 in prize fund this weekend, which is extremely impressive. To go along with those 140 total entries, I think 96 individuals were here. So big shout out to all the sponsors. And again, big thank you to Melody and the staff here at Chateau Lanes for raising so much money for all of us to have a great tournament to bowl.
Indeed. Actually, it was interesting looking like there weren't that many entries signed up in the beginning of January. I don't know what time, but then they announced that they increased the prize fund to top prize to $4,500.
Yes.
So that is fantastic.
And we had the total number here. So 41 bowlers from Manitoba, 3 from Alberta, 15 came from Thunder Bay, and then 38 from down in the States. And I think a lot of it has to do with the weather. You know, the weather is always the X factor at this tournament, whether it's extremely cold or, as we're seeing now, the freezing rain and the snow. But once you get to that 15 days out, you kind of have an idea how the weather's going to go. And for those of us driving, makes it a lot easier when it's nice out.
Yeah, I'm actually curious how long that drive is from Thunder Bay. Wasn't it like...
It's got to be a ways.
I'm going to Google that right now.
Oh, anybody in the chat room from Thunder Bay, how far is it to get to Winnipeg, as they call it?
They sure do. We are fortunate that it's not that cold. It's 8 hours to Thunder Bay.
8 hours to
8
Thunder
hours.
Bay. That's crazy. And speaking of Thunder Bay, I do believe Aaron Craig is out of Thunder Bay.
That he is.
And was one of my
Mario's
picks.
Bowl. He was one of your picks?
Yes.
Oh, lovely.
And after a few games on Friday night, he's like, "Are you questioning that pick?" Because I don't think he liked his qualifying block. But I was like, yeah, I do like the pick. 38 feet, a lefty, kind of on the lower rev rate. Pretty good with urethane.
Got that sanded purple hammer out there.
And he did well at the tournament in Superior last weekend.
You know, us fellow lefties like to say that Aaron has a voodoo roll.
Really?
No one can do what Aaron Craig
Really?
does. Absolutely. You know, I'm looking at Aaron, I'm like, I cannot bounce it like you're doing right now. And he knows his game, he knows his equipment, and he's really good at that.
Consistent, simple game.
Yeah. He's really good at knowing what works for him.
He is 29 years old out of Thunder Bay, Ontario, 9 300s, 8-12 high series. He listed off his previous finishes, and his highest finish was 2022 in 9th. So this is the first time he's made the Stepladder final here at the Manitoba Open.
And seated third. You know?
Previous tournament wins, won the Edmonton Open in 2024. And the Superior Showdown took second this year. That was just last week. So very nice.
He's also just a very nice human.
Yeah. His family just to our right here. In the chat room, Thunder Bay is 8 hours east of Winnipeg. Says you've been there a few times.
I have been there a few times. I won a World Cup Nationals at Thunder
Wow.
Bay and Mario's, and I used to live in Sudbury, Northern
Really?
Ontario. So bowled a few youth provincials back in
I'm
the
sure,
in the
yeah.
day. It's been a while, but
We're not going to say how long ago that was, but
it was 1997, so it's fine. I have no shame. It's a lovely town. I love Thunder Bay and the people in it in the bowling community.
and that's right along Lake Superior on the north side, isn't it?
It is. It is. And beautiful drive.
Is it?
Yeah. So
Not
get a
sure how
chance.
good the drive's going to be today, as that little
Maybe not
System
at,
kind of was working its way
this
east.
time of the year. Okay.
And now we're in a head-to-head match here.
And I'm pretty sure Aaron stayed in the Purple Hammer for the entire 8 games of match play today. And that's the only ball he threw in his practice shots. So,
Yeah, I would be surprised if he went to anything else, though what I've seen him throw this weekend. As the higher seed, Aaron will get lane choice. Are you one of those that likes to finish first or finish last, or is it strictly lane dependent for you?
you know, it used to be that I'd always want to finish first. But as of late, I've gotten much better at finishing second. And now it's more lane dependent,
Sure.
right? So depending on which one has the best matchup for me, then I will choose based on that. But it's taken a lot of time to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when I set up this camera out on the approach, it wasn't sunny out, so I wasn't getting the whole
Oh, the glare.
the glare from way in the back. But
It
this
is a
is
nice
this is what we
angle,
have.
though.
Yeah, it's different. But I thought about going the other direction, but there's a door out that way too,
Yeah.
and the sun shines through. So kind of
Kinda
making
stuck
do
where
with
you
what
are.
we have, but we do have our lane camera out there. Again, Chase McVicker against Aaron Craig, winner.
Interesting
Face Duncan
choice.
DeVries in the next match.
So Chase has picked up his Ion Pro, the ball that he threw in his last 2 shots last game.
Okay,
Fall out a little.
looks pretty good.
All right, what do I know?
Clearly he saw something in those last 2 shots.
Yeah.
By the way, I would like to shout out the jersey selection for you this weekend. My wife's a big
Oh.
Harry Potter fan, so she would definitely enjoy the jersey you had this week.
It's a little subtle, like it's a Hogwarts castle in the background. And it's funny, one of my friends asked, like, oh, what skyline is that? And I was like, oh, it's Hogwarts.
Yeah, they think it's actually like a city somewhere.
yeah, it was great.
Shout out to my wife and kids at home. Do miss you. We'll see you later tonight. First frame for Aaron
A
Craig.
little bit. Wow, great shot. Great shot. A little high flush, which is perfect for a Purple Hammer.
Yep. Again, Duncan DeVries is the number 2 seed, and Wade Scott, champion of the 2017 Manitoba Open, is the top seed. He must be defeated twice. Wade looking for his 2nd Manitoba Open title.
I love watching bowlers pre-shot routines.
So
They're all
important.
unique. They're all different, and
Is there a particular thing you like to do every time?
yeah, for sure. Oh, that had to
7?
roll uphill, and it barely got to the pocket.
There were
but
like
it did.
4 pins going towards the 7 pin, but none of them got there.
That's bowling sometimes. Okay, if I'm reading that right, you know, maybe he got it out, or maybe lane 17 is a little longer for Aaron. Not reading as early in the fronts.
Do you remember any key characteristics of the championship pairs? Because they used to use 15 and 16 as well on the rotation.
Yeah, it's been so long that I would say stay on the lane.
Oh no.
Okay. Okay.
Well, early open for Aaron Craig.
It's better to do them early, right?
Yeah, I would agree.
Ain't no thing.
Right? I actually bowled on NDBowlTV back at the Masters, and I did the exact same thing.
Okay. And then you went on to win your match.
I did not.
Okay.
I lost to my boy Thomas Wolf. He is my kryptonite.
Where's Thomas at?
I think he had some kid stuff going on this
Yeah,
weekend,
fair enough.
which is understandable. Shout out to you, Thomas.
Wow, great shot from Chase. Ion Pro, lane shine.
It's a great ball.
It is a great ball.
What's your favorite Ion out of the series?
That Ion Pro Solid's quickly looking like a
That's the one I was
pretty-
gonna say. I love that ball.
Now I had to take a little of the lane shine off of it. Did you?
It's at box. Mine is
Okay.
still at box, and it's
Okay.
pretty good.
All right. Yeah. It's a sneaky one.
Yes, very very smooth, very consistent. Like I feel like I can play in different parts of the lane with it, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, McVicker, frame 3. Push.
That is such a fantastic shot. What a kid.
And just ho-hum coming back, just doing his thing.
Oh, we've got a lot of Chase fans in here.
I could about imagine.
Yeah. This young gun showing him how it's done.
Yeah, and the local fans here at Chateau Lanes.
And I know we got a lot of Aaron Craig fans out there too, because how can you not love Aaron Craig?
Right, and shout out to the Thunder Bay contingent. Looks like he's got the Northern Lights inspired jersey going on.
Matches the purple hammer, so.
Yep.
Oh, that's going to be close. Good shot. Good shot. Yeah, it's just funny to me. Urethane hits, you know, they're not that far off.
Right.
And then it's a flat 7.
And it seems like there's so many shots that I see people throw the purple, and I think it's going to soft 10, soft 7, and it snaps them out every time.
I know.
And I get unreasonably irritated by it. But
You know, this is also part of the game. Way to
Yes,
go, Aaron.
yep.
Back on that 7-pin.
that's what we do as bowlers, you know?
Yeah. Like I said earlier, the only constant is change and adapting,
Correct.
right? And being able to accept what is happening and move on because it doesn't matter anymore.
You know, and I give so much credit to the people who can make the purple work, because when NDBowling.com was with Brunswick and Ebonite, I tried drilling purples. I could never get it to do the thing that everyone else can. I tried everything. I tried different drillings, different
Did you
surfaces.
try like negative val angles?
I should have.
I mean,
But I tried everything. I couldn't get it to work.
you got to try 16-pound purple.
I guess. Got a chance.
Yeah, that's a great shot by Aaron. Good adjustment there. Rolled up sooner. Went through the pins the right way.
Well, these are the last 2 Canadians left here at the Manitoba Open. A couple bowlers
then
from
we're
the States
We're
are.
going to have a Canadian moving on.
Yep. So the great Canadian hope here is the winner of this match. And in our preview article, I did point out how the Canadians have been dominating this tournament, winning 12 of the last 20. And
That's
of the
crazy,
12,
actually.
they're all right-handed. There hasn't been
Oh, wow. That is a fantastic shot.
there hasn't been a right or a left-handed Canadian winner in the last 20 years. But
in the last
then
20 years.
out of the 8 Americans that won, 7 times it was a lefty. Only 1 righty from the States has won in the last 20
Interesting
years.
stat. So the year that I bowled Eric Parby, one of the years I bowled Eric Parby, I needed a strike in the 10th, and I stoned an 8-pin.
Oh, no.
And he goes, not like that. Not like that.
Yep. I feel like I remember that because it was before NDBowlTV, and I was just doing
Yeah.
some of the website stuff. And I think you guys had your match on 15 and 16 because they would go back and forth between the 2 pairs here.
I was wearing a Harry Potter jersey that day, too.
Yeah?
I guess I really like Harry Potter.
You must have a lot of those.
No secrets. All right, let's see Chase kind of shake that off, see if he can come back. Make a great shot here. A little wide, a little fast with the feet. Seemed like he got out of time on that one.
So what would you say is your big miss? We saw there Chase kind of like got a little fast with his feet.
Yeah, so for me, I've been fighting early timing
Okay.
for my whole career. So when I get in a pressure situation, right, and your brain kind of gets in that fight or flight mode and things kind of revert back to your old ways. So when I get fast with my feet, I tend to send it wide like what Chase just did there. he just threw 2 pins at the 10 pin, and neither of them hit it. Okay. That's how quickly bowling changes.
Yeah, he looked in complete control there, and then I don't know if maybe the 4-9 threw him off a little bit,
It seemed to.
but
You almost have to take a little extra time to reset and go back to your process in those moments. Great spare attempt. But
okay, so opportunity for Aaron Craig working on a strike in the 5th frame.
it's got to push.
Oh, no.
6-8. Yeah.
That's like the demoralizing split. The kind that, like, off your hand, you think it's pretty good.
It's so
and,
close.
And, like, 45 feet down the lane, you're like, that's pretty good. And then
50
you're
feet down the lane, you're like, that's still not bad.
yeah, you're staring at an open now. And
Yeah.
that's one of those that just takes the wind out of your sails.
Well, and you know, when you really get on it, it's not unsparable.
Yeah.
You gotta feel the magic.
This would be a good time to pick it up.
Aaron likes to hook cross lane at his right side spares. Would have needed to hook just a little bit more.
All right, so both players open in the 5th. Chase has a 19-pin lead.
Are you pretty fast at doing math now?
As an
Have you always
accountant.
been?
As an
Okay,
accountant,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
And my wife's a math teacher, so
Good.
our house is big on numbers.
Nice. So you make a perfect bowling commentator.
As much as I'm thinking about, normally Ken is my numbers guy, because
Okay.
I'm trying to, like, you know, produce a show as well. I
Mhm.
tend to slip in my
In your multitude
Yeah,
of
my
doing
math.
all the things. Yeah, that's fair.
So Aaron Craig, frame 6. Looks like he projected that one a little better. Rolls up
Okay,
and
there we go.
gets the strike.
He's kind of shaking his head there. A little bit disappointed.
Oh, geez. Got Melody over here taking pictures of us.
Oh, that's a little fast, a little wide.
Okay, so wheels kind of coming off here. Gotta regroup.
Take an extra breath. What do you do in situations where you need to regroup?
Slow down, you know, try as hard as you can, because in any sort of step ladder, whether it's live streamed or not, it seems to go so fast. When you're the only thing going on in the bowling center at the time, you've got all these people watching.
Even when you're not in a step ladder, when the wheels are coming off, everything goes fast.
Right. I tend to focus on my feet right away. You know, if you slow your feet down, everything else kind of goes with it. And when you start to press, the first thing you want to do is run to the line. You want to
And then you
hurry
pull
up.
down on it.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I actually count my steps sometimes
Really?
to ground me. Yeah. Like your brain can really only think one thing at a time. So if you give it something constructive to
Yep.
think about.
I mean, that's why we practice, so your body can kind of do the memory, you know?
That's a really great shot. That was
That's-
a really great shot.
Gets the 4 out. But yeah, to ace one off your hand after the last three frames.
Yeah. Yeah, hats off, right? And it's in those moments where you're in pressure situations where, like I was saying, right, like things kind of default back to old habits.
Yep.
So you almost have to have even more of your routine to ground you.
All right, gets
I
the
was going to say
spare.
back up a little bit.
Yep.
You know, Chase is really good at flattening out his hand, and it's still a reactive ball.
Looks like we're going to get a visit from Mitch Hoope momentarily. So stay tuned for that. We'll be able to ask him a little bit about his experience here in the Stepladder Finals.
Yeah, and put all the tough questions in the chat.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
lay them up there.
That's right. If you have any questions for Mitch, please head on into the chat room. Aaron Craig, frame 7. Kind of a big shot here. Got that right.
Oh, that's going to Brooklyn.
Well, fortunate to leave the 2. All right, joining us now, no stranger to NDBowlTV, Mr. Mitch Hoope. How you doing?
Hey, not bad, not bad.
I feel like I'm in a helicopter. I hear you loud and clear.
Roger.
So how did the stepladder go for you? Probably not the finish you wanted, but
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just did like a Hail Mary there. Like, I didn't throw urethane the whole tournament, really. And I knew Doug was going to throw Purple Hammer, so I felt like that was kind of my only option. And like, I was lucky to squeeze through that one. The thing with the red ball is it's good for about like 15, 16 frames, and then it starts to get really shiny. That's kind of what I ran into. Plus, I didn't have any practice shots between the matches, so I
was
couldn't.
surprised you didn't. Did you have a chance?
No,
to
I
throw
wasn't
fill?
allotted any.
Yeah.
So
No, I mean a
couldn't-
fill shot or anything.
Yeah, like I threw a fill shot with the phase 2, but
Oh, right. I do remember that.
it's kind of hard. Like, I just bowled 230. It was hard to make a change. My high game of the week, actually.
really?
By the way,
Wow.
That just goes to show you how tough it was and how consistent Mitch was.
before that it was, I think, 223 was my high game, or 226 actually, my last game of match play.
Okay, that didn't get into a roll at all.
Yikes.
Yeah, they're not fun out there. Let me
That
tell
is
you
a weird
firsthand.
4 count. Have you seen a washout like that? Like the PBA washout plus a 9
Yeah,
and a
that's
10 pin.
Rhino Page against Patrick Allen back in the
Yeah,
TOC
just,
to lose. Yeah, it was like 260 to 250. He needed a mark in the 10th, and he 4 through the middle like that, or not through the middle, but 4 washout.
Yeah, I think he left the like the 6-pin with that,
Really?
so it was
Wow, that's nuts.
not the 9.
Now with Aaron's roll, he has a chance at this. Not that way. Oh my gosh.
Almost.
Yeah.
Well, the kid's got an opportunity here.
Yeah, Aaron's definitely giving him a chance.
So, Mitch, what was your qualifying at total? You only bowled the 1 shift. You finished out at 32 over?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just grinded away.
One of the 7.
For the most part, like, I didn't really see this pattern all that well.
Okay.
Really?
Pretty safe 7 count for Chase.
Yeah. Yeah, like I felt like it could have played pretty nice to the left, but nobody really did it. So nothing ever developed.
Right. I feel like
It's kinda what I
when I
felt
got
like.
here, you were practicing throwing from left, and you actually thought it looked pretty decent.
Yeah.
But it never got
with some
there.
people throwing urethane to the right and nobody really wanting to move left of like 15-ish, they just remained so flat in the middle for most of the block. That's why, it was just a hard pattern, low scoring.
Yep. Seemed like this morning you kind of got off to a slower start. It didn't seem like you were as comfortable. Were you just kind of fishing on the lane for something?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't really see the pattern clearly at all. And then, like, the last game of match play, I knew I needed 220 or something, so I just jumped way left and did kind of what you were saying. You saw me doing practice the one day. I just tried to slow wheel it because obviously what I was doing was not
Not
going
gonna
to
give you
I
220.
could, like,
Yeah.
manage a 200 maybe.
What ball did you use that last game?
Yeah, I used an IQ-AI,
Interesting.
so a pretty clean cover end core, and just shaped it. No, I couldn't really do that in the match play, or sorry, the step ladder.
Right, with the fresh oil and
Yeah.
everything, yeah. All right, kind of a big spare here, huh?
Indeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Indeed.
As an open here, we'll put him in the 140s, 170 possible. Aaron Craig can strike out for 178, so
Yeah, he needs the spare to not have the potential of being locked out.
That's a good spare. That's
Really
a great
good.
spare. How do you've grown up with, like, you've seen Chase grow up now, Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are your thoughts on his
I mean, he puts
evolution?
in the work, right?
Yeah.
Like, the kid lives in a bowling alley. And he asks a ton of questions. he's not afraid to bowl against the adults. And I mean, it shows.
And he does drills at home all the time, it looks like.
Like the kid breathes bowling.
You almost have to at that age to be this good. Got to be dedicated. All right, so Chase has 189 possible. Aaron can strike out for 178.
That looks right.
A little right. Yeah. Aaron didn't quite look to get too comfortable this match either. You're good friends with Duncan. What do you think he's going to throw? Did he throw a 78U?
Yeah, I was talking to him.
today?
He did for one game against me, and he bowled 260. Thank you very much. And then I don't think he threw it the rest of the match play.
And that's all he threw in qualifying.
Yeah.
Right? He wheeled the 78U. He just chased it left. It was insane.
I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I know. So, I don't know. He might try it, I think. I mean, when the scores are 170 to 150, I mean, I don't think it would hurt to try it.
Yeah, flashbacks to your win.
Right,
back
yeah,
in
this pattern is
2022.
kind of reminiscent of that.
Really?
Maybe hooks like a little bit less, but like they're just so flat in the middle and the gutters don't necessarily pop. Makes it really tough.
All right, 168 left for Aaron Craig. Strikeout here would still only mean Chase needs what good count on the first ball? Mark in the 10th.
That looks
Good
good.
shot.
Oh no.
That was a good shot.
Sometimes it's just not meant to be.
Yeah. We've all had that. We've all experienced that. Probably more times than we care to count.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt today, honestly. Just wasn't my weekend.
Right.
I'm
That's how I felt too.
still all right with finishing 5th, honestly.
Can't win them all, right?
Yeah, sometimes like your ball just doesn't see the pins, doesn't see the lane the right way.
And you're someone who has a lot of tricks in their bag, so if you can't get the ball seen
Yeah,
the
like-
way, like it's really not your day.
I could trick it enough to average 200, but
That's what was
Ah,
crazy
it's a
for me
better.
because I was a
Interesting.
spectator all weekend, you know, and what I saw a lot of was a lot of players fishing and going in different spots of the lane and just trying to find something consistent. 'Cause it was hard to string strikes,
right.
and different parts of the lane and pair to pair were so difficult that
Yeah, I mean,
Match
this
play.
house is just tough. Like, the pins don't fall super easily. The lane to lane is really tough. Sport patterns just play tough here.
I would agree.
And then with the field and where they're playing it, right? Like qualifying played completely different than match play.
Yeah, it's always a little tighter, I think, the next day. But
All right, so let's go take a look at our Stepladder Finals bracket. Moving on, the 15-year-old.
yeah, if I'm Duncan now, I'm probably considering urethane. Like, just keep it a little simple. Like, they both 310.
Yeah, and the year you won didn't you win with a 150?
Yeah, I believe so. If Jonathan's in the chat, I'm sure he'll let me know.
Shout out to Domingo. Do miss you, buddy. Hope all is well. Gives us another opportunity to say thank you to our sponsors. Again, Storm's the official bowling ball sponsor of the High Plains Bowling Network. And a big thank you to the folks at Zello Gear. You can save 10% at zellogear.com using promo code NDBowlTV10. Again, I'm Darren Cini, joined by Felicia Wong and Mitch Hupe here in the booth.
I'm just going to take a short break myself to eat. 'Cause
Sure.
It's been about 7 hours, I think.
Yeah, I haven't ate today either. Go enjoy it, buddy. Okay,
Would you like a granola bar?
I'm good.
All right.
Big thank you to the sponsors of the tournament once again, helping raise over $28,000 in prize fund.
Okay, so Duncan is looking at that 78U, giving that a shot.
And it got to the point yesterday during his massive block, he was 140 clear of everyone
He ran the field
with
over.
1440. And he basically took the 78U. He started out a little right, and then as he moved left, added a little bit of loft, got it over the heads, and got it to start up in the right spot. And he just never looked back.
I'm actually quite shocked just seeing that practice shot. I didn't get to watch it at all yesterday, and watching this is mind blowing right now.
Right, and by
What is he doing?
by game 6, he was sliding 30 with this ball and I believe he shot 270 his last game.
I mean, as Mitch said, right? Like the 78U tends to shine pretty quickly, but that looks like it worked out in Duncan's favor.
Right. Again, Duncan's out of the Sioux Falls, South Dakota area. Let's see. Age 35, high series 836, high game 300, third year bowling the Manitoba Open. He's never made the Stepladder finals. He won the Shervin's Scratch Classic in Aberdeen a few years ago. I do remember that. He is the general manager of Eastway Bowl in Sioux Falls.
And I mean, that just goes to show you how tough this field is, as Duncan is quite a talented bowler.
Yes.
For him never to make a stepladder until now, right? And yeah.
And I would like to point out that I did pick Duncan in my preview article as well. I get a lot of hate mail. I got to say it. I get a lot of messages. I get a lot of
bet you
hate
do.
mail for bold predictions. So whenever we get to shows and some of my picks are here, I got to,
And on socials, I guess you got to expect a lot of hate mail.
Yes.
You haven't made it until you've gotten hate mail.
Yeah, right. And most of the people are pretty nice about it. They just question my thought process. And,
Yeah.
some picks like picking Mitch are pretty easy, but
Yeah, well, and then you picked Aaron Craig and Duncan.
I did,
Tavares.
and Duncan, yes.
Here we go. So I think I'm going to take off at this moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for a little bit of your time.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure hanging out.
Good luck going forward. Good luck on tour this year. We'll be watching for you. And, awesome jersey selection as well. Just talking for my wife. She loves them.
I'll make sure to shout out ND Bowling when I
Yes.
have my jersey on.
Absolutely. Thank you, Felicia.
Thanks for having me.
All right, frame 1 for Duncan. Solid 9. Again, we're in our semifinal match. Winner will take on Wade Scott. Winner of the 2017 Manitoba Open, looking for his second title here in Winnipeg. Would be his second major title as well. Well, footing issues there for Duncan, but let's get some scores on the screen for you as well. That would help. Like everyone in the chat room, let me know who you think is going to win this match. Chase McVicker or Duncan DeBraze. All right, joining me now, tournament director Melody Savage. Melody, welcome to NDBowlTV.
Welcome.
How did the
Thank
weekend
you.
go?
Great. It's always stressful.
I bet.
It's like a love-hate. Like, I love the tournament. I love everything I do. And it's kind of like you dread it because you don't know if there's going to be breakdowns. You don't know if there's going to be problems. You don't know, if everybody shows up or a blizzard happens last minute. So
Right.
it's always fun.
Frame 2 for McVicker. Nice shot there. So over the course of the weekend, you had 97 unique players, and then the total entries got to 140.
42.
42. So
with
over
3 entries.
So over $28,000 in prize fund given away. Gave away $150 to the qualifying leader, which was Duncan. Overall, a very successful weekend.
It actually, when we look at the prize payout, it totals $29,250, and then we take out the alternate high qualifier, and then for the 300 game that we roll over.
Okay, so total
year.
prize fund is north of $29,000 for the weekend.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you talked about the payout. So last year, 32nd was 340. So with the more bowlers, with the added fundraising, we were able to increase that to 400. And first place, a couple weeks out, we decided to increase that to 4,500. Just took a risk, had some extra sponsorship, and hoped it would bring out some more bowlers, which it did. My numbers at that time went from 85 to 97. So
Very nice.
It did bring out some more people, so it worked out that way. But it's stressful and it's a risk.
I bet. And for those bowlers in the chat room or are going to watch our show in the archive, where can they go to get more information on the Manitoba Open?
Basically, we have a Facebook page.
Yep, there's a group called Manitoba Open.
And it's a private page, so you have to find it and then ask to join. And what I look for is, are you friends with other people in the group? Are you a bowler? Just so I don't have people that are spamming and stuff in
which
there.
is a big problem.
Yeah. So I keep it kind of private, and then I'll add you, and then there you get all the information. So start in September with the poster and all information, everything leading up.
Little bounce there, but does leave the 10. And I know myself, I promote the tournament quite a bit on NDBowling.com, so if anyone's out there and wants to know more about the tournament, you can find us on Facebook, go to our page, and look up the poster. I do have a link to the group, I know on our Facebook page somewhere.
If they're not on Facebook, then ask information from others that have come up here to kind of get that. But the Facebook page has everything. It has all the info you need.
And a big shout out to Melody. There she is.
Yep. Yeah.
Longtime tournament director here at the Manitoba Open. I do appreciate you, getting us back up here and doing the show again. It's been great the last couple of years, and I hope we can do it again.
Yeah, I love it. I love having you here. I love everything you do for it. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem. So frame 4 for McVicker. Good shot there. Doesn't quite get up the hill. Leaves a 2-pin. So what do you know about Chase? What can you tell me about him?
He's amazing.
Yeah.
For a 15-year-old.
Right.
But he has shown Manitoba his talent since he was 6, 7, 8 when he started with the youth program and started bowling and working with his coaches. You could see he was talented and meant to be here.
And this is his third Manitoba Open that he's bowled and already making it to our show. I love the composure. I love how solid his game is. It's no surprise that he's here by just watching him bowl.
Yeah, he did his first team trials this year and made the youth team. I think we all expected that he would. But you could just see he bowls a lot of the adult tournaments here, and he goes to scholarship. But he's going down south doing junior gold. He's putting himself in those positions to be comfortable.
Good shot there by Duncan. A 3-bagger following the first frame spare. So doing kind of what he's done all weekend. He looks pretty comfortable throwing that 78U. He lapped the field in qualifying by 140 pins. So I know the people from North Dakota and at the South Dakota area who are watching. This is no surprise. Duncan is a very talented bowler. Every time I've seen him bowl, he's always up near the top. He won in Aberdeen a couple years back. It's crazy. You can hear the label on the lane as it goes down the lane.
And I'm not sure what you talked about with the shot this year. Every year we kind of throw ideas around, look at what's out there and available. I'm always around that 40 feet. I think I did a 39 once, maybe a 41. And we just thought, well, let's do 38. Let's just see what 38 does. And then we started looking at the ratio.
Yep.
Last year it was 309 to 1. And so we started looking. I was looking around the 2.7, 2.8. I found this one. It is 2.43 to 1, I believe. 38 feet. Mils of oil, like the volume, still, you know, around that 24, 21. Not too low, not too high. But the drop rush was 38 feet. So, you know, would the pattern hold up?
Right.
You know, longevity? That was the question. And then as the players play, do they play together? Do you play against each other? They're crossing with different styles. How does that break down? So, I mean, it's always a guess and a test.
It's always hard to find a pattern. It really is, because there's always going to be someone that doesn't quite see it right, and then there's always going to be those people that absolutely take it out, you know?
Yeah.
But I know we mentioned it in the preview article. It's the shortest pattern and the flattest pattern that I've seen in the what I call the NDBowling.com era for us, which is 2012 on. So it's nice to see something different. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of the bowlers here like to see hard patterns because 220 means something, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it was a good choice. It was a good difference from past years.
Yeah, and if you look at qualifying, you're always going to have somebody or a bunch up on top.
Crosses over, leaves a makeable.
And you're going to see some struggle. You know, if they have a qualifying block where it's not that great, they tried some different stuff, talked to some different people, maybe think, I'm going to re-enter and try something different, and then that gets them into qualifying. So the re-entry is important because you get more prize fund, but people get another shot to give it another try and get in there.
Question in the chat room. Anyone got a link to the standings? If you go to the Manitoba Open Facebook group, you have to request to join that. And once you get approved, there's a link for a Lexar scoring, which is online scoring that they have here at the Manitoba Open. Very useful. It's got all the scores there from the qualifying all the way through the Stepladder final. You can see everything. Even when people re-enter, you can see their lowest block. It's just crossed off. So you can kind of see everything. So if you want more information to the Manitoba Open, please go online to Facebook, find the Facebook group, the Manitoba Open, and you can find all the information there. And once again, thank you, Melody, for having me. Thank you for stepping in and just kind of giving us a little bit of information onto what goes into this weekend, even though it's really stressful for you. It's been a good weekend, and I think all the bowlers appreciate not only the hard work, but how well it's ran and all the money. It's awesome.
Lots of stuff behind the scenes that we kind of keep everything running. The mechanics, thanks to them in the back. Megan, who's the manager here, does so much. She's my daughter, so she learns from me, but she does a lot, so I thank her. Elaine, Kevin, Wendy, they help with registration, they help with pot games, brackets, all that stuff. So, yeah, to them, and I'm glad it went smoothly. You always get nervous to make sure everything's working, and it did, and so it's another successful year. So that's
very nice. You have a good team. So big shout out to everyone, even the people in the back working on machines, to oiling lanes, to passing out bracket money, entering scores, all the above.
Yeah, and the 50-50, which was my mom. So thanks to her.
All right, so thank you to Melody Savage, tournament director here at the Manitoba Open. Mitch, welcome back.
Thank you, Darren.
Hope you had a good lunch.
It's great. Not as good as your lunch, though. Did you tell the people about what you had for lunch?
Oh, yesterday for dinner, I went to Leopold's by your suggestion and got the official Canadian poutine. I wanted the best. Wouldn't say the best, but a good Canadian poutine.
I'm telling you, the best is Costco.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
So if you ever come to Canada and you want a good poutine, I guess go to Costco. All right, what are you seeing in this match so far?
Yeah, Duncan's kind of doing what I was hoping he was going to do, which was to throw urethane. I mean, one, he kind of has a look that nobody else has, and two, it being urethane is relatively safe. And, you know, it took 146 to win the last match, so he's not necessarily looking for 240.
Oh, no, another 4-9 for McVicker.
Yeah, it's just a tough leave on the twister pins. Pretty common to see like the really high flush 4-9.
It's also a common leave on strings that I've seen, like in Williston this year. I saw a lot more 4-9s than usual.
Okay.
Henry asks in the chat room, how about string pin machines? Thoughts on strings in major tournaments? Your thoughts on strings?
So like that tournament in Williston was actually the first time I bowled an event on strings, and I didn't hate it. Like I think it would take some getting used to, but for the most part, I thought it was fairly legitimate and fair across the board in terms of making good shots and getting rewarded.
And I will say, I just want to preface for everyone listening along on our thoughts from string pins. When I first bowled on string pins in Williston, it was right after Brad and the gang had them done. And there were a lot of wrap 10s where the string took the 10 out and a lot of splits that got broken up from the strings. But after... Oh!
Nice. All right.
But after, what do they say? After 1,000 hours on the machine.
Is that it?
You cut the strings and you adjust everything.
Okay.
And when we came back this fall for the Coors Light shootout that you won, I thought they were a lot more like freefall machines.
Sure, yeah.
They
didn't
weren't
see a lot of like quote unquote string hits.
Correct.
Like there was the one here and there, but I think if you put it side by side with freefall, you would get the same amount of breaks.
Yes,
each
because you
event
don't get the
machine.
bird dogs
Yeah,
on
exactly.
strings, but you get some.
You do get like the
String
string
hits.
around the 10 sometimes.
Ooh, 4-pin for Duncan.
Yeah, that's pretty fortunate. Yeah, it's pretty crazy how far left he can get with that ball. Like, obviously, I bowl on tour, I bowl all over the world. I haven't really seen anybody do that
Really?
with the IQ 78.
And then he's lofting it. As he goes further left, he applies more
Right.
loft. Yeah, he was able to do something no one else was this weekend. And it showed by the qualifying scores.
Yeah, exactly.
140 clear of the field.
And a lot of people, including myself, watched him do that and thought, I'm not even going to try that.
Really?
I can't do that.
But isn't that like kind of the key to bowling, is to finding that one thing that not many people can do, and then you have that inherent advantage when
Sure, yeah.
it's there?
That's obviously one ideal strategy. Yeah, and he's able to do that right now.
All right, so Chase has 2:02 left. Duncan is pacing in the 2:0s.
He really just needs to keep getting 9.
There's Mark out, and he's in good shape.
Yeah, that one you just didn't get far enough right. Just laid in the oil a little longer, but I mean a 10-pin will take that.
Again, if you haven't already, please share our stream on social media. Consider subscribing and hit the thumbs up button. That would be greatly appreciated. I'm Darren Sini alongside Mitch Hoope, calling the 44th annual Manitoba Open here at Chateau Lanes in Winnipeg. Solid on the spare.
Nice. If you would have bowled, Darren, what do you think you would have done?
I don't know. You know, it's one of those, like, every time I come here, it takes me a game or two to get my feet under me with the approaches.
Mm-hmm.
But I normally don't see a lot of hook here as a low rev player. So I tend to wonder what I would have seen on 38 feet. I think I would have found a decent ball reaction to start. But once I start to see the puddle down lane, and it's hard for me to get around that. It's kind of been my kryptonite over the years. So I don't know what I would have done, to be honest with you. I just chose not to bowl this year just to, spend more time focusing on this part of it. It's a pretty good shot. It hooks up early. Fortunate to get
it just shows how tough this pattern is. Like we're talking, what was that? Maybe a board left, and it's just ultimate penalty a lot of the time.
Yeah, and he's had shots where he's missed the head pin to the right.
Sure.
So he's got a pretty small window to hit. Spare strike for 180. Duncan's already in the 190s, so
yeah, Duncan's going to move on.
Duncan is going to move on to take on Wade Scott in our championship match. I actually went to dinner with Wade last night. We both went out and had poutine, and he was looking.
That's what it was.
Yeah, maybe. he was looking through the standings, and you know how they go A, B, C, D to kind of figure your group.
Yeah.
And he noticed he was in your group and Duncan's group, and he's like, "Well, I've got one of the toughest groups. I'm not going to be any good." And here he is.
To bowl 268 against me.
Did he?
Yep.
Well, to beat one of the best, you got to bowl some of the best scores, right?
Take it easy on me.
You got a target on your back in this building, Mitch.
I know. I'm just here to have fun.
All right, Duncan's just going to finish out the 10th frame here. Is he throwing something else? Was that a black hammer?
He was talking about if the red ball got a little too lazy, potentially switching to the black, and it kind of, I think it is.
So an arsenal of urethane for Duncan.
We might see a black hammer versus purple hammer finale here.
Yeah, Wade's walking over here with his.
That's one ball tote.
Yep. Again, Wade's no stranger to the Manitoba Open. Won it back in 2017 in a victory over Andy Mills. He was the #1 seed then as well. I'll do it. 223 for Duncan, 178 for Chase McVicker, and a great tournament for Chase. Finishes out, what was our third place total here? $2,000 prize, which goes to, obviously, his youth account. Any final thoughts on Chase?
No, I mean, it's nice to just see the hard work pay off, right? It's tough, especially as a younger bowler, to see the results. You're playing against older kids, adults. It's not always a tangible result immediately.
Sure.
So for him to come out here and place and make some money, it shows that he's doing the right thing.
Yeah, so big shout out to Chase McVicker. Great tournament, finishing third in only his third Manitoba Open. We will more than likely see him again. Let's go check out our bracket, and here you have it. Championship match. Wade Scott and Duncan DeBreeze. Looks like we're going to get a brief visit with the kid, Chase McVicker. Chase, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, let's bring it on into the booth. There he is. He's taller than me, but he's 15.
He's taller than me.
Chase, take us through your weekend. Great bowling, third place finish. You just got back from team trials where you had a pretty impressive finish there. Kind of take us through your week.
It was all right. The week at team trials was quite fun.
Yeah.
But this weekend was honestly not as great as I thought it would be. Like, I didn't bowl so great the qualifying, and that one big game kind of helped me in. But honestly, it was definitely a lot of fun, but not as good as I would have hoped it to be.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, you bowl tournaments to win, obviously.
Oh yeah.
So when you got to the Stepladder finals, kind of what was the mindset? You seem pretty calm out there.
I tried to just make sure I wasn't overreacting on shots. Like, one shot isn't gonna make or break a game. Worry on just making the spare and then going back out.
At the end of the first match that you bowled in the 3-person match, you changed to the Ion Pro. What was the thought process going to that ball? What did you see? Because in the next match, you went straight to it.
Yeah, the pole seemed like it was just burning up a little bit too soon. I know the fronts here aren't always great, so, and I hit the pulse with a little bit of surface before the first match, and yeah, I just didn't like the way it was rolling in the fronts and then not storing enough energy through the back ends. So the Ion seemed to get through the slop a little better and then finish.
Very nice. And we did mention on the show earlier that you had 255 to get yourself in the cut. So there was a point where you didn't think you would be bowling today.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So pretty impressive. Mitch, do you have any thoughts for Chase?
No, I mean, it's kind of a good feeling, I think, to shoot a big game, to get into a cut or something like that, because then you just feel like you're on house money, right? Like, to an extent, that's how I felt even bowling the Stepladder, right? Like, I bowled 230 to get in from 12th, and it's you're just happy to be there almost, right? It's a little freeing.
Yeah, I guess I should probably thank my dad, because at the end of the 4th game or 5th game, I threw a shot with the Ion. It looked terrible, and my dad told me to change something. I tried not to, and then the last game I said, whatever, let's try it. And
so he's the reason. He's the reason. Yeah, you were running them down over here towards the end of that block, and I remember because I had a few of my friends that were really close to the number. And I was like, you got to watch out for him because he's got 250 going, and sure enough, you finished that off and got into the cut, and then you parlayed it into a $2,000 win today. So
yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, great bowling. You're welcome to stay here and talk with us for the championship match, but great bowling, and I'm sure we'll see you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Chase McVicker, everybody, congratulations to him on a great weekend. We will see him again here on NDBowlTV, and Duncan's going to kick us off here in our championship match. Mitch, who do you like here?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, judging off of Aaron's game, like, he kind of has the same game plan as Wade, and we kind of saw that panned out for Aaron. So I don't know. I mean, I think if Duncan can kind of just keep his feet under him, I could see him winning both matches.
And that's right, because Wade must be defeated twice. If Wade does win this first match, he will take home the title. In 2017, Wade won the first match against Andy Mills. Andy did have a chance to win that one, but came up short in the 10th. So Wade did take home the title. You can watch the archive of that on NDBowlTV.
Didn't you have some crazy stat on, like, the last right-handed American to win?
Yes,
it's only been left.
There's only been one right-handed American to win in the last 20 years here at the Manitoba Open, and there has not been a single left-handed Canadian win in the last 20 years.
Interesting.
So all of the Canadian winners, there's been 12 of them in the last 20 years. They're all right-handed. There's been 8 American winners in the last 20 years. 7 of those victories came to left-handers.
Was Andy the one?
Andy Mills is the only right-handed American in the last 20 years to win. So Duncan could be the second, or...
Looks like you just slipped there.
So that will be a score correction, but Wade hasn't bowled in a while. He'll be the first one to tell you he's probably not as loose as he wants to be.
The approaches are another kind of tricky factor. I'm sure you've seen it.
Yes.
A lot of people practice sliding or kind of slipping off of it. They're just fairly slippery, so that was kind of another hurdle, I guess, on top of the tough lanes, was just getting consistent sliding.
Do you find it's more inconsistent here than most places that you bowl?
Probably, yeah. I think a lot of people would agree with that. I know, like, when we were practicing on Friday, that was probably one of the first things that Duncan and Justin noticed, was just how slippery these approaches are.
So I feel like it's really important to come here. They have practice available on the pattern before that Friday shift at, 6:30? And I think it's important for a lot of people to come in here just to get their footing. And we do see the score correction up there, so now Wade's score is correct. Duncan, frame 2. Doesn't like it. Goes nose, and does take out the 9. I find that a little bit easier now.
Yeah, like, I wonder if he's a little too far left. Like, he's really pushing the boundaries with the red ball.
It's not as broke down kind of where he saw it yesterday when he was in there. Let us know in the chat room who you think is going to win the title here in Manitoba. Championship match. Spare, pretty solid there. What score do you think it's going to take to win this? We've seen some low scores. We've seen some pretty decent scores.
I'd love to think that like a couple of 2 teams will win these games.
So when you're thinking that, does your strategy change when you think you only need 190-2-0 to win a match as opposed to
Yeah.
you feel like you need 230, so you start fishing a little bit?
Yeah, and that's kind of where the urethane comes into play. Urethane, typically the more safe ball reaction. You might want to stay in it a couple frames longer, a couple games longer if you know that you're not chasing a big score. But then again, Duncan has been getting big scores with the urethane.
Yes.
So.
Yes, and so is Wade today, especially.
He bowled 270 the last game of qualifying with, the IQ 78U lofting 4th arrow.
All right, frame 3 for Wade Scott, working on a strike. Looks pretty good. Doesn't get the 7 out.
Seems like he's been a little more direct than Aaron was. Like Aaron was closer to the gutter. Wade's kind of paralleled right off that.
And as a urethane player yourself, how do you know when to get out of it?
Yeah, it's tough. Like you really have to rely on your fill balls, the situation at hand, right? There's a few things that come into play. But typically when you start seeing like the flat 10, the 2-pin, the bucket, those kind of things is when you're kind of getting the hints that it's time to either make a big move or to get out of it.
All right, good spare for Wade Scott. Looks like he's got his feet under him a little better now. Frame 4, again, Wade must be defeated twice. This is game number 1 of the championship match. A little high, doesn't take the 4 out.
It seems like he's kind of battling the approaches, I think.
I would agree. All right, so an open for Wade Scott in the 4th, gives him 56. Opportunity for Duncan here, taking a re-rack on the lane 18. Is there an 8-pin back there? Might be missing an 8-pin. So what's in your encyclopedia for this pair? What's your...
I was telling Aaron, this pair has historically been a little better on the right side, actually. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't this the pair that like McNeil would struggle on? Because he'd obviously make the Stepladder finals most years.
Because back then they used to do the back and forth thing with 15, 16, 17, 18, and he would always do well on 15 and 16.
Right. So yeah, 1920 is pretty tough on the right, and 17-18 pretty tough on the left.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, when Wade won his title in 2017, the first match was bowled on 15 and 16, because I can see the steeper angle from our cameras, remembering that show. Let's see, just need a full rack here on 18, so a slight delay. Icing the kicker, so to speak.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing for Wade, actually. Just take a breath.
Looks like we're getting another guest in our booth here momentarily. Aaron Craig, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Very nice. So a good tournament for you. Let's bring it on into the booth momentarily. There he is. Good tournament for you. Take me through your one match there.
Thank you. Yeah, I decided to save my lowest game for TV. So thought I'd give everyone a show. Yeah, no, it was just my feel was a little bit off. From what I've heard, 17 and 18 are not friendly to the left, so that didn't help my poor
We
execution.
just got done talking about that. That's what Mitch said, yeah.
So yeah, just a little bit of everything.
We're getting pictures taken here, by the way. We're still waiting on the fix on lane 18 for Duncan here. Looks like we got pins now. But overall, Aaron, a good weekend for you coming all the way from Thunder Bay. You were one of 15 bowlers from Thunder Bay this weekend. I thought that was a pretty good turnout for you guys.
Squad.
Yeah, we've had an influx of interested competitive bowlers, and they see the 2 or 3 of us every year make the trip, and they decided to join us. So we're more than happy to have them all here.
And this was your best finish in Manitoba, correct? From what I gathered with your sheet there.
Yeah, I think this is my 10th in a row. Would have been 11, but we had that COVID year. So
That's right.
yeah, all in all, it was a great weekend.
And for all you haters out there, once again, I picked this guy in my preview article, and he made his first show here.
There you go.
Yeah,
So
yeah, take that.
I get a lot of people. I get a lot of comments. It's kind of funny. Duncan, frame 5, working on a double. Started up early. Can it take the 9? No. But a makeable nonetheless.
Yeah, you just absolutely take that. Halfway through the game, and Wade's looks a little questionable. We'll take the break on that and get 9.
So do you think there's anything in the back of Wade's mind knowing that he has a free game as far as he doesn't actually lose the title if he loses his first one?
I mean, I would hope not. Like, I don't think that's a great way of looking at it. But maybe. Maybe he's going to try a couple things. I don't know. I mean, he's obviously not out of this match by any means.
Question in the chat room, how close was Thomas Wolfe to making the cut? He was very far from making the cut because he was not here. He did not make the trip this year. He was the runner-up in last year's Manitoba Open, falling to Zach Wilkins in the final. Frame 5 for Wade Scott. Looks
Nice
pretty
shot.
good. So what did you see on the left side here that kind of tricked you on the championship pair?
I found 18 was a lot earlier than 17.
Okay.
That's why I picked it. I picked 17 to finish on. Other than that, my 2 shots in the pocket didn't tell me a whole lot.
Yeah, and I thought later in the match there were a couple shots on 18. You missed a little left off your feet, and then with the purple there, it just not much of a chance. Big double for Wade. That's a pretty good couple frames there. He needed that.
Yeah, I think that little breakdown may have played to his advantage, I think. Just take a breath, you know.
So what do you do to slow down in like big moments like this, whether it be Stepladder finals or you kind of feel the wheels fall off a little bit?
Yeah, breathing's a big thing, drink your water, maybe talk to somebody.
All right, frame 6 for Duncan.
Push.
Trip 4. So Aaron, you qualified. Let's see. You had one. Your second one was 26. You actually had 2 scores within the cut. But your good one was in 10th. You qualified.
Right.
Overachiever.
And wasn't it you that walked by me and you said questioning my pick after your first? And that ended up being pretty good. You had 2 scores in the cut there.
Yeah, I'm not really a risk taker, so I thought I'd like to have the ball in hand for the last shift.
Yep.
Who knows if a group of righties had figured out like Duncan figured it out in the morning. So, yeah, it allowed me to try some different things and work on my execution a bit. So it helped me for today for sure.
There's a lot of people that were in that same situation where you, after 2 shifts, you're kind of in that 21 to 32 range. You got to decide, is that score good enough or should I bowl again? There's a lot of people that bowled again that didn't have to, yourself included. And a rare miss there for Duncan, opening the door for Wade Scott. 134 in the 7th for Duncan. Wade working on a double. I think back to all the past shows we have here. Righties having problems throwing across lane with the seam. Right past the 39th board. Has that ever been an issue for you in this house?
I mean, just the approaches in general are just a little tricky. And this place has always been tougher the further left you get as a right-hander. I don't know about you getting further left, but
Yeah, that's where I throw. That was my kryptonite. For
Really?
me, the going for my left side spares this week, and I'm not sure if it's my role, but if I missed a little around it at the release for even with a spare ball, it was offline.
got a makeshift double wood out there.
Right, you got the spare. We have a question in the chat room. Who all made the step ladder? Well, let's show you what our step ladder currently looks like. There it is. The first match was a 3-person top score moves on. Second match, 3-person top score moves on, and then single game matches from there on out. This is our championship match. And again, Wade must be defeated twice. And this is game number 1.
Thanks for not posting the scores next to our names. Appreciate it.
I will in the recap, though, so don't worry about it. Y'all can catch a recap on NDBowling.com on Tuesday. Nice shot there. All right, what's the situation, Mitch? Duncan's got 224 left. Wade's got 224 left as well.
Yeah, ball in hand still for Duncan. Hopefully he just puts that last frame behind him. Just makes a couple good shots.
Wade's got 214 left, right? Yeah, I looked at that wrong. So, yeah, Duncan can go strike, and guarantee he can't get shut out. Just never quite got up the hill. Does trip the 5 out.
Yeah, I wonder if he's questioning whether or not he should have switched to the other urethane ball.
There's another makeshift double wood there.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, the way it respots that 8-pin, I think, is because that wasn't like that
No.
when he left it. I almost think that makes it harder for the right-hander in this.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it was a little not so easier, but didn't really affect Wade. But this could be a little tougher for Duncan.
I don't know if you can see that on your screen, but nice spare there by Duncan to not let it bother him. So now, would they have the right to get that respotted if they really wanted to, since the machine moved it?
I think the rule does allow that. Yeah, if the machine picks it up and misplaces it on as it sets it, you can ask for a respot. Obviously, if the pin slides over and the machine picks it up the way it is, you can't respot it. But if the machine actually moves the pin, yeah.
And I'm already getting hate in the chat room for not knowing the total left for one of the players. That's okay.
It's a decent
It's
shot.
good. Yeah, nice shot there. All right, well, writing on the wall here is pretty clear, fellas. .214 left for Duncan, .214 left for Wade Scott. He likes it. Nice shot
nice.
there. Again, Wade Scott looking for his second Manitoba Open title. Won it back in 2017 in a dominating performance. He was the qualifying leader that year and then ran away on what I believe was a very stacked stepladder finals, if I remember right. I know I have that information here. 2017, it was Wade Scott, Andy Mills, Zach Wilkins, Matt McNeil, and yourself, Mitch Hoope.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you for the compliment.
I just remember that being a very stacked stepladder finals. And nice shot by Wade Scott. Again, whatever Wade does here, Duncan's got to match him.
Yeah, he definitely settled down, I think. Figured out his footing. Like I was saying, I think that breakdown that happened to Duncan kind of played to his advantage.
Yep.
Just let him take a second.
Yeah, we had a moment there where 18 wouldn't spot a full rack.
Yeah, and if you're the player that's down 30 or 20, like that's great.
So are you the kind of bowler that, like in this situation, if Wade were to strike, were you re-racking and taking your time?
No, I've
No?
never really been, I think, a mind gamer, if you will.
Sure. It's pretty good.
Chance.
Takes the 10 out. All right, forces Duncan to at least double now. Again, 214 possible for Wade, 214 possible for Duncan.
That's a little right.
Right,
slow.
and
Wow.
leaves the 8-pin, so Duncan can strike out to win match one
I don't
by
know why
one.
they shook hands, but
Yeah,
I hope Duncan knows he can still.
right. You got to think they know the situation,
Right?
Sometimes the reactions at certain times make you wonder. But,
Like Duncan just shook his hand.
right, I think Duncan knows though.
Okay.
Maybe it was just
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past Duncan.
it's like a nice 3-bagger there, but all right, gotta have it.
To the right. Yeah.
Doesn't get up the hill, so Wade Scott is going to win his second Manitoba Open title. Congratulations to Wade. And we will have a word with Wade momentarily. I guess, Mitch, thank you for a little bit of your time.
No problem.
We
It's fun.
appreciate you sipping in, and
Thanks for doing what you do. Thanks for broadcasting us.
yeah, I hope I'm back next year.
Appreciate all the the media attention we can get, I guess, up here.
Absolutely, and the tournament keeps growing, so I hope more of you all watching come out next year. And Aaron, congratulations on a nice week of bowling, and good luck going forward.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks, Mitch, for letting me beat you. And,
You're welcome. Now you owe me.
And Chateau Lanes and you for having it on the media and everything. So
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Again, we're going to have a word with Wade Scott here momentarily. Melody is going to give out a trophy and a little bit of money, and then we will talk to Wade and wrap things up. So a big shout out to everyone who joined us today. If you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up button. It does help us out quite a bit. Okay, so Melody talking about all the volunteers and the sponsors of this event. Thank you for the shout out, Melody.
Our commentators, we had Felicia Wong in there. We had some of the guys from Stepladder. So thanks for helping out and getting in there and just giving some feedback. So we really appreciate it. Thanks to all the bowlers who traveled here from across Canada and U.S. and to the youth that bowl, because that's the next generation. So thank you for coming up here and participating. Hope you enjoyed it. And thanks to the locals. The locals, you kind of help make you're the biggest number here. So thank you to the locals for coming out and playing. This year exceeded last year, and we expect next year to be even more. Contributing factors, obviously, first prize, second prize, getting up there, 32nd spot, sponsors, everything, that all plays a part. So let's do a presentation, finishing second, $3,000, Duncan DeVries.
Nice shout out to Duncan, second place. Good weekend of bowling for him. Again, the qualifying leader, so he took home that $150 top prize. For the qualifying leader, I guess you could say the bonus, $3,000 for him.
2026 Manitoba Open champion, first place prize of $4,500, and the
All right, Wade Scott, another winner. All right, let's bring it on into the booth. First, we're going to visit with Duncan. Duncan, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, take me through your weekend. Started yesterday. You kind of dominated the qualifying round. You shot 1440. No one else hit 1300. What did you find that no one else really had?
Had a really odd thought. Talking with Mitch Friday night after the practice session, I said, hey, before in the past I've been able to loft urethane, slow hook it, and get left, and we both were kind of like, nah, disregard that, not going to try that. Well, as the morning progressed and the squad went on, I started with urethane around 8, 9, 10 at the arrows, and just kept moving a little left, little left, little left, and the ball kept coming back, and it I had something nobody else could do with that slow hook of urethane. The other thing I was doing was lofting the heads and getting it past that first panel. A lot of bowlers struggled with the crease between the first and second panel. A couple of them have a little bumps and some patchwork, and that's to be expected in some places. And trying to get a consistent roll from that was difficult. So I just sent it over it and was
very nice.
Managed to find something.
So what did you see in the Stepladder finals? I mean, you got through that first match, and then against Wade, they had the little breakdown on 18, but it seemed like the urethane wasn't quite getting up the hill.
Yeah, I think I kind of ran into the same issue as Mitch. Game 1, I bowled against Chase. I had a little bit of more fresh surface on it, and as I continued to throw it, it started to lane shine a little more and started running into little issues. And I contemplating switching, but I was like, well, maybe I can skate through one more time and just see. But I threw a couple errant shots, and then also a mixture of watching the ball kind of wiggle and not make the hill like I thought it might. So.
And I saw you try the black urethane kind of in your fill ball against Chase. Did you not see something you liked on that?
I did see something I kind of liked, but I also didn't want to get that far left. I felt like the more left I get, you get closer to the flatter part of the pattern, so my miss in would have been removed. And I didn't want to just rely on the hook from the urethane, so I thought I'd have, with the IQ 78U, I thought I'd have maybe some hold and some hook, and I kind of did, but it also was a little more touchy, especially with carry. So.
Okay, well, congratulations on a great weekend of bowling. You got some good money to take back to the Sioux Falls area, and I'm sure we'll see you again.
Yeah, actually, I get pride I beat Machupe, so
yeah, nice work.
Thank you.
Second place, Duncan DeVries. And let's see if we can get a word with our winner, Mr. Wade Scott, up next. I'm sure he's more than happy to come talk to me. And welcome on in, Wade Scott, your second Manitoba Open title. How does that feel?
It's crazy. Overwhelming.
Really?
Yeah. A little bit. It's been a while. Took second in, 2020. I've been close to this one. This has been a really good tournament for me. And Melody and everyone up here does such a great job with this tournament. I've come back now for 10 years and plan to continue to do it going forward. So.
Yeah, and yesterday you qualified 17th at 50 under. And that's what you bowled Friday night, right?
I did. One shift, yeah.
You didn't think it was good enough, and you were, what, 5th after the first one? 4th.
Yeah.
But then after Saturday morning, you're like, I'm good.
Yeah, once it started, I'm saying there 19 more people in the last shift had to be able to jump where I was. So once I seen that in the first, I wasn't going to, even take a chance. I figured 50 under would be okay, and ended up dropping down to 17th, obviously, but it was good enough.
Very nice. So what did you see today? Because, I know you and I went to dinner last night. You looked at your group. You had Mitch, you had Duncan, and we were counting, and you were like, "Man, I got the hard group," And you weren't very confident. And then you didn't feel that well last night.
No.
So what did you see today that kind of got you there?
Well, I think it just continued from yesterday. Game 2 I switched away from the urethane, and it was over-under for me. So, and I was too far in the first game with the urethane, so I moved out. And I liked the look of it, and it continued all day. For some reason, today was just a better reaction, which is odd because this is the third day of it having that out.
Right.
In terms of the pattern. And yesterday, or Friday night, 180, 190, kind of just staying there and then shoot 240, and then finally got myself to that 50 under. And today, I played the exact same line, and it just had a better reaction into the pocket today for me.
Very nice. Let's just, talk about the championship match. started out a little shaky. You missed that 7-pin. It seemed like you slipped on the approach.
No, I didn't. I came through and hit my leg.
Really?
Put it right in the gutter. I can't ever remember doing that ever.
Really?
Yeah.
And I figured it's because you'd been sitting a while, and I was like, well, maybe Wade's a little stiff or whatever. But we thought the breakdown on 18 kind of played to your advantage. It kind of got you to slow down, maybe think about it a little bit. Did something change
actually,
there?
I finally got another 7-pin, made that, so that kind of calmed me down a little bit. And it wasn't quite finishing, so I just moved back and actually a little bit left. I hadn't had to do that all weekend since this was fresh. And then I got the first strike, and I just continued from there. So it was, I didn't figure I'd be able to get there, but when I looked up and we had 2 frames to go and 215, or 214. And all I could do is put the pressure on him. That's what I wanted to do. That's why I wanted to finish first.
So you chose?
Yes, because I
chose it
knew
that
I'd
way?
like
Okay.
to do that. I'd rather put the pressure on myself and then, come through. And then hopefully, if he doesn't come through, then we are where we are right now.
Very nice. We got some people in the chat saying, nice work, Wade. The roads are decent. So, hopefully we have a good drive home. Wade, congratulations. It's awesome to see.
Appreciate it. Thanks,
One of my best friends. I love it. 2-time major winner, 2-time winner here in Manitoba. I love to see it. If anyone wants a full recap from the event, I'll have it on Tuesday. So drive safe.
Thank you.
Enjoy it.
I will.
It's awesome to see.
You bet.
Wade Scott, winner of the 2026 Manitoba Open, his second Manitoba Open title. First one coming back in 2017. So that's going to do it for me here at the Manitoba Open. I do want to thank everyone who's tuned in today for joining us in the chat room. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Hit the thumbs up button. Watch some of our shows that you haven't seen in the past. Again, for Felicia Wong, Mitch Houpe, Melody Savage, everyone here at Chateau Lanes, I'm Darren Sini saying good night from Winnipeg. And congratulations to Wade Scott. We'll see you in 2 weeks from Minot.